कौन?
सुते सुरवर वर्षिणि दुर्धर धर्षिणि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवन पोषिणि शङ्कर तोषिणि किल्बिषमूषिणि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दितिसुतरोषिणि दुर्मदशोषिणि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते ऐ जगदम्ब मदम्ब कदम्ब वनप्रियवसिनी हासरते शिखरि शिरोमणि तुङ्ग हिमालय शृङ्ग निजालय मध्यगते मधु मधुरे मधु कैटभ गञ्जिनि कैटभ भञ्जिनि रासरते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते ऐ शतखण्ड विखण्डित रुण्ड वितुण्डित शुण्ड गजाधिपते रिपुगज गुण्ड विदारण चण्ड पराक्रम शुण्ड मृगाधिपते निज भुज दण्ड निपातित खण्ड विपातित मुण्ड भटाधिपते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते ऐरण दुर्मद शत्रुवधोदित दुर्धर निर्जर शक्तिभृते चतुर विचार धुरीण महाशिवदूतकृत् प्रमथाधिपते दुरित दुरीह दुर्शय दुर्मति दानव दूत कृतान्तमते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
Good morning, ma'am. You are mute. Good morning. Today is a historic day, and a historic day in the sense that today in 1674, Shivaji Maharaj was crowned as king, and in 1844, YMCA was inaugurated, and today also it's a very crucial day because we remember the passengers that were killed in the Bihar train tragedy in 1981. It was the biggest accident, train accident that has told 10,000 people. And in 2004, the Tamil was declared as the classical language of India by the then President, Shri APJ Abdul Kalam. So this is all about this particular day. And over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, teachers. Just one information.
Kanika ma'am is here, and ma'am required you to join these breakout rooms. The message that is coming in your windows, please join the breakout rooms so that ma'am will give you some assignments, some case studies, so you can do it in the rooms itself.
That would be at a later stage. We'd be having the presentation first.
Sir, first let me introduce ma'am. Nitesh sir.
Yes, ma'am, just the little info that I have given that they can join the breakout group now. You can introduce ma'am.
Bhavan School Junior, Chandigarh. Ma'am will talk about adolescence education. And before I invite ma'am, let me tell you something about.
Ma'am, I would be talking about teachers' professional development in NEP 2020.
Okay. Sorry, ma'am.
It's okay, ma'am.
So, ma'am joined Bhavan Vidyalaya in 2005 as a PRT and initially taught Standard 1. Over the past 18 years, she has been teaching a wide array of classes, right up to class 12. Took the responsibility of HOD English in 2020 and has now taken up the charge as principal, junior school. A passionate teacher and a firm believer of holistic education, she incorporates and advocates a creative and practical approach towards teaching with special emphasis on empowering the students with self-confidence, crucial life skills, empathy, and sturdy values that have become a necessity in today's highly competitive world. As coordinator and HOD English, she facilitated the professional and personal development of the members of her department. She also played an active role in lending a helping hand in raising funds for the Interact Club's projects through various artistic endeavors, also helping children from underprivileged backgrounds. She was conferred with many awards. So one of those is Nation Builder Award for the year 2016 by the Rotary Indian Literacy Mission in recognition of her outstanding services as a teacher. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And ma'am, for your information, this session will continue till 11 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
A very good morning to all of you for this training session on teachers' professional development as covered in the NEP Chapter 5 on teachers. Before that, I would like to give a big thank you to Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma ji for having motivated me to take this particular session. And thank you, sir. It has really been a learning experience. This topic is also very close to my heart for another reason. My profession before I joined teaching was I was a HRD professional, and training and development has always been very close to my heart. And I think I have been able to use it far better in the education sector than in the private industry earlier. So without much ado, I'll begin with the PPT. Before that, I would just like to appraise all my participants today regarding how I'm going to take this training session forward. I have tried to orient it on a more hands-on look at the topics more than the theoretical or technical aspect. And what I plan doing is first giving you a very quick, maybe a little rushed overview of all the different theoretical aspects of continuous professional development, career progression, and the national professional standards for teaching. After that, that is when we are going to use the breakout rooms. You're going to be divided into groups and you're going to be given a case study through a link. And that case study will apply all the different aspects of these three topics that I will be covering in the presentation. We will take it from there, right? So I'm going to share the screen with you, and we're going to start off with our presentation. I hope it's visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great, that's good.
Visible.
So as you can see, the NEP and teachers professional training and development is what we are going to be looking at from different aspects. The teachers play a very important role in this field of education, because in fact, the teacher is the vital link that is right at the center.
Please mute. Please mute everybody.
I request you to keep your
Please mute yourself.
Sorry to disturb you, ma'am. You are on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So here I'm just showing you a few quotes from different people and from different parts of the world. If you would see, a Japanese proverb very rightly says that better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. And Robert Frost says, I am not a teacher, but an awakener, which I feel is a very right term for all of us teachers, because that is exactly what we are endeavoring to do. And of course, Mahatma Gandhi ji very rightly says that I have always felt that the true textbook for the pupil is his teacher. The role of the teacher has been evolving over the years, and the NEP 2020, as well as the NPST, that is the professional standard for teachers, these both have come into play primarily to try and restore that glory of the teacher and the guru that we have been associated with for so many centuries. If you would see, this screen just basically takes you through the evolving role of teachers and teachers' education. Primarily, teachers began as gatekeepers of information. I'm talking about today's world. And now we, as a set of professionals, are now becoming the facilitators of teachers' learning. And there are major events with particular reference to our country, which have been responsible or which have initiated this change. The first is the advent of the right of children to free and compulsory education, the RTE Act 2009. Then the introduction of the TET, that's the teacher eligibility test, a quality check to enhance the proficiency of teachers. Then, of course, the NEP 2020 placed the teacher in the center of all the fundamental reforms in the education system. And that is why this particular chapter assumes great significance, because all the changes which have been incorporated are to dramatically transform the role to what it was always meant to be, that is of a facilitator. There's also, as all of you would be very well aware of it, the pedagogical transition from a teacher-centered to a student-led, collaborative, experiential, critical learning. And of course, the fact that the world is transforming into a close-knit global village, that necessitates that we must have a far more greater sphere of knowledge and understanding of the educational systems all the world over. So to be able to pick up the right good aspects and make our educational process even more competent than before. Here now we have the tremendous responsibility on the shoulders of educators because of these changes. The need of the hour is teachers' training and development, but not just any teachers' training and development, one which must be comprehensive. All different aspects should be taken into consideration. It should be continuous. That is what CPD is all about. It has to be a continuous learning process. In fact, I think that is what life is all about. It is a constant learning process which just does not stop. You could ignore it, the learning opportunities that come your way, but then that is where we need to rectify that. Then, of course, another fact is that it has to be very collaborative. Learning has to come from all directions. And it also has to be consonant with the changes taking place in the prevailing environment. You're learning new practices, you're learning new facets of how to teach and the way you're going to go about it. It all depends upon the changes in your environment. What is suitable for one particular environment might not be. The main barometer of an efficient teacher is one who adapts to the environment and adapts her teaching style and her teaching content according to that. Holistic, of course, needless to say, all of us are very well aware of it. Integrated, that is another very important aspect. It has to be integrated with all aspects. Subject integration, of course, is a different thing, but teacher training and development, the teacher as a human being and as a professional, both these aspects have to be taken together. Nurturing is really very important because until the social emotional learning is not there, I think any kind of teaching learning experience will not be complete. In fact, far from it. So the three basic things that I'm going to touch upon and we are going to discuss out here is continuous professional development, that's CPD. Then we have career management and progression, that is CMP of teachers, which is given in great detail in your chapter 5 of the NEP. And of course, the national professional standards for teachers. These are the three aspects that we are going to just, like I told you, because of paucity of time, we are going to rush a little quicker than what I would have liked to. Let's start off with continuous professional development for teachers. According to the thesaurus of ERIC database, professional development refers to activities that enhance professional career growth. But for teachers, it basically means engaging in constant self-reflection on their academic mastery, profession development, administrative leadership, and research. And together with the development of skills and competencies to determine the pace that makes one's position grounded and the future ready. Continuous professional development is certainly, absolutely, undisputably an essential part for future teachers to achieve their long-term goals. Now, a look at the key features of continuous professional development for teachers. These are, first is lifelong learning. Needless to say that constantly we are always absorbing whatever we see around us. And apart from the lifelong learning, that learning is a continual, eternal process, we also have reflective practice. Reflective practice, I feel, is one of the most essential aspects of a teacher. You have to constantly be reflecting as to what you have taught, how you have taught, what is the effect and the impact on others? And by others, I mean the students, I mean also your interaction with your colleagues. I also mean the society. It's a huge system in which you are just one cog in the subsystem and you have to contribute towards it. Collaborative learning. In this, I would like to point out, collaborative learning for me is, as a teacher, learning from all directions. And I think one of the most important sources that personally I have felt that I have learned the most from students. I have learned the most from their learning patterns. I have learned from their reactions. I have learned from the input that they give. That gives me a reality check as to how successful my lesson is. Collaborative learning, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is with your co-teachers, with your seniors too, and your juniors, and also with parents. They are another source of learning. Their perspective is very important, as well as society at large. Technology integration, really very important and an essential part. And I would very candidly admit, for a dinosaur like me too, I have managed, thanks to the pandemic and to the online learning, I have managed to learn quite a bit. And I do realize what a great difference it means. And the enhancement to your lessons when you integrate technology extensively but carefully is what I would like to mention here. Individualized learning plans. This is very, very essential. And in fact, I will be sharing a Google form with you at the end of the session, which basically guides you just to do that. Each one of you has to make a roadmap for your own plan as a teacher, for your career progression as a teacher, and how are you going to achieve it? Mentoring and coaching, and research and publications, and recognitions and incentives. All these three are also very, very essential. Mentoring and coaching from all aspects, whether it is from training programs, whether it is from colleagues, whether it is from whoever, whichever source they are. Research and publications is also very essential for a continuous professional development for us teachers, because without that, we get pushed back definitely a step, or we get sidestepped. We can really understand and also contribute very significantly, both through studying and examining various researches and publications, as well as involving ourselves also in these. Recognition and incentives are equally important. Recognition and incentives come in various forms. It can be just recognition. Again, another big source of recognition for me personally has always been from my students. I think that is where you really feel that you are doing what you were meant to do. And of course, from all quarters. So through this, teachers can enhance their teaching practices. They can stay abreast of educational advancements and provide high quality education to their students. Ultimately, all the educational outcomes will be significantly improved by following this. Then we have vital factors in the realm of continuous professional development. The first thing would be the identification of strengths and weaknesses of yourself as a person. Then it would go on to fostering self-directed learning and curiosity. Constantly look out for opportunities to find out more, because this world is an endless ocean of so much of information, of so much of all kind of learning experiences, and curiosity is something which is very essential, I feel, because that is what will help you to find more, to discover more of yourself as a teacher, discover more about your capabilities and your potential, and discover more of how much you can contribute to this teaching learning experience. This will show you, like I told you, the deeper learning capacity. You will realize how much of a capacity you have for learning. Creative thinking is also a very important part of continuous professional development, because, you know, as a teacher, I think you should always be on the lookout to reinvent yourself, to discover what are the various ways, and to reinvent yourself with, of course, the ultimate outcome of it improving the teaching learning experience and of it augmenting the development of the students. Effective student engagement is also a very important trait, and that is something which one really needs to work on constantly. There is always room for improvement in that. And of course, last but certainly not the least, another part of continuous professional development is mindfulness for self-care. If you are not at peace and if you do not look after your well-being, if you don't look after yourself, then how will you be in a position to do justice to your obligations to everybody around you, your family members, your co-teachers, and of course, your students? I do hope I am not going too fast, and I do hope it is of some use so far.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go to the continuous professional development cycle. It is planning, which determines as to you make your master plan as to where the progress can be accomplished. What are you planning towards and how are you going to go about it? Then once you plan it out, then you participate in the activities that promote professional development. So basically you engage in action to achieve the plan that you had made for yourself. During your progression, you must always keep reviewing your progress and your basic plan, your master plan too, because changes will always take place, and there could be a lot of instances where you need to alter your plan, you need to make some changes. So incorporating learning, all the learning that you're doing, you must incorporate it. That it is only when you incorporate it, that is when your professional development is going to be of any long-term use. Transparency, you must share what has been learned to assist others. You know, teaching is one, and really, I really don't have to emphasize on this particular aspect, because we in the Bhavan family are known for the support system and the amazing teamwork that we have. We are always as one group, and there is no question when it comes to our duties and our learning outcomes. There is no question of personal ambition as such, of wanting to keep things to ourselves. We have an amazing environment as far as that is concerned. And you must always be transparent to all around you. And I talk not only about your co-teachers, as far as the parents are also concerned, as far as the children. What I have found personally is that when you take the children into confidence and make them involved in the lesson, also make them appreciate the fact of include them in the plan itself. That is why every time when I would start a lesson, I would always say that, okay, we are going to do this today. And this is my plan. What do you have any inputs to give? So that sense of transparency in all aspects is also very good. You learn a lot from it. And then, of course, reflection. Reflection is a very important aspect of our profession. in all spheres, not just in a continuous professional development. And these are the various activities that can contribute to professional growth and development. I can just run you through it because you are very well conversant, whether it's continuing education or it's qualification programs or education conferences or seminars, participation in professional organizations, improve job performance, increased duties and responsibilities. Increased duties and responsibilities is it's an excellent way of professionally developing yourself as a teacher. Then observation visits to other schools, that also gives you a very good perspective. That is why things like even deputation and going to other schools, even for short durations. In fact, a lot of you would be very conversant with the Fulbright education program. That is one of the many that are there. And these kind of things give you so much of exposure to different systems, and they really develop you as a professional teacher. Then mentoring and or peer observation and coaching. This is also, according to me, an extremely very important source for being able to get tips on how to develop yourself further. And it is a very good learning experience. Peer observation specifically for us. And assessment and evaluation activities, especially the formative assessments, are a very good starting point for assessing yourself as a teacher and assessing as to what are the areas that you need to work on the basis of the feedback that you get from these assessments and evaluation. You can make your own changes in your future professional development program to augment your teaching abilities and your teaching learning experience even further. Again, approaches to teachers' professional development, we can divide it into three aspects. One is skill-based learning, when we are trying to augment our skills. The other is through job assignments, that various different kind of job assignments. We get different duties also when we are in school. Those are an example of job assignments. You get very good exposure to different kinds of responsibilities and duties that are a part of the school organization. Excuse me. We also have developmental relationships. In developmental relationships, there are three major roles that a person can play, and this is something that I wanted to bring it to your notice. One is assessment. That is, you become a feedback provider or a sounding board or a point of comparison. You compare, and a feedback interpreter. And the next is challenge. That is, as a dialogue partner, you talk through a particular problem or a particular situation, and or as a role model. And then as a feedback, that's a third role, as a counselor, as a cheerleader, as a reinforcer. So these are different roles that you can personally play and help. So developmental relationships are really important as far as your training and development is concerned as a teacher. Then we come to the second aspect, which is the career management and progression of teachers. Basically, career management is the process that you thoughtfully plan out your occupational progress. What is your career graph going to be, the way you envision it? What is it that you would like it to be? And in an individual's career, doing this requires identifying one's own goals and objectives. There are various skills that will help you with your career progression. They are life skills, they are flexibility, confidence, and self-assurance, communication skills, patience and foresight, empathy, ability to engage, ability to empower, ability to constructively handle stress, leadership qualities. Then we have organizational skills, proficiency in IT skills, team player, continuous learner, deep commitment, long-term vision, imaginative and innovative, And one very important part, conflict resolution. I feel conflict resolution is something which today, not only in our profession, but in every profession, we need the kind of environment and milieu that is there, with the aggression that is there. We must try and develop ourselves and train ourselves for resolving conflicts of all kinds. Next, we come to the National Professional Standards for Teachers. It is basically a public statement of what constitutes teacher quality. This is something which is being initiated by the NCTE, and it basically covers expectations of the teachers at different levels of expertise. And it outlines the competencies required at each stage. It comprises standards of performance appraisal for each stage. It outlines design of pre-service teacher education programs and promotions to be based on these appraisals, not on the length of tenure or security. There are 4 standards. I am going to just again, sorry to repeat it again and again, but I'm going to rush through it. The first one is standard 1 for core values and ethics. And in this, the various aspects are constitutional values, your professional ethics and values, your professional autonomy, that is how much of freedom that you have within, commitment to students, professional relationship, and commitment to professional integrity. All these have been very in great detail. They have been enlisted. In fact, I would strongly recommend all of you that you must go through the NPST, because it actually talks about what all teachers should have and what the kind of environment that teachers should have and the kind of realm of duties that they should have. And that gives you a sense of assurance also, because most of us are already following all those. Plus, it gives you a clearer vision as to what are the things you have to keep in mind when you are moving forward. Then we have the MPST standard 2, which is professional understanding, knowledge and understanding. In this, as the heading tells you very clearly, you have to knowledge of and understanding of the subject area. You should have, the outline has been laid out. What they have done in the NPST is, they have basically divided teachers into 4 groups levels, 1, 2, and 3, and 4 in levels of proficiency. The first is the beginning teacher. That's the Pragami Shikshak. Then we have the proficient teacher. That's the Praveen Shikshak. Then we have the expert teacher at level 3, who is the Kushal Shikshak. And then we have the lead teacher, who is the Pramukh Shikshak. And for each of these standards, they have given a very good rubric for all the levels of development and understanding for each of these subdomains under each of the standards. So under this subdomain, under this domain of professional knowledge and understanding, the subdomains are knowledge understanding of subject area. They have outlined how much for each level of the teacher as she progresses through. Then factors affecting student learning. That is, what are the various factors which are affecting student learning, and you have to take that into cognizance. You have to be aware of it and how you progress and go more into detail as you progress up the ladder of your duties and responsibilities. Then pedagogical knowledge, which is understandably and needless to say, the most important part, which is there of our profession. Curriculum structures, all the different curriculum structures, they have to be well aware of it, and step by step it has been ruled. Technology use and integration in education, that again, starting off with the minimum and how it goes. And what they also emphasize here, the technology has to be used carefully, but extensively. Standard 3, that is professional practice and competence. The subdomains under this are your learning plans, which lead then to your lessons and your lesson delivery. Then there is the classroom components and dynamics. All the rubrics for that are also mentioned. The effective classroom communication, and then we have assessment of, for, and as learning. Going to the 4th standard of the NPST, that is professional development and growth. And that is the part that we are talking about right now. One has to first identify your learning needs, that is the subdomain. After the learning needs, there has to be a reflection, which we are going to dwell upon, which we are soon going to be covering when we do the case study in a little while from now. And then, of course, engagement and participation in learning school communities within the school. Coming to the third aspect, which is the NEP Policy 2020, on the chapter on teachers, I'm just going to go through the key points at a glance for you. And again, to get a deeper insight, which is impossible at this particular point of time, you will have to you'll have to go through this chapter in detail, and you will be able to get a lot of extensive information there. So it talks about teacher recruitment and qualifications, and it talks about teacher education programs, there's TEPs and training. So 4-year integrated B.Ed program after high school, and ongoing professional development provided to teachers for continuous skills, knowledge, and professional development. And then it also talks about the NPST and the emphasis, which I'm not going to touch upon here. Then we have teacher motivation and support. That is measures to improve working conditions, job satisfaction, and motivation of teachers. Adequate support systems provided to address personal and professional needs. And we also have teacher performance and evaluation. That is your transparent mechanisms for teacher performance. And then we have technology in teacher education, which is emphasis on integration of technology, then enhancing teaching practices, and developing a digital literacy among teachers. These are the main emphasizing points. The 7th is, of course, teacher collaboration and networking. The main aim of this chapter is basically to elevate the status and quality of teachers in the education system, which is something which was long needed, especially in the remote areas. Ensure teachers have necessary qualifications, training, support, and personal development opportunities to provide high quality holistic education to students. Now, coming to the SWOT analysis, which is what we are going to need for the case study that we are going to do. Basically, just to give you a quick thing about the case study, which is going to follow soon after in another minute or two. This case study is about a particular teacher. The details, all different aspects have been given there. And when you go out into your breakout rooms, you will be doing an analysis, and you will be coming up with a training program, which would be very conducive and the ideal one for that particular case study that you are going to be looking at, right? So for that, I feel you need the SWOT analysis. I'm sure a lot of you would be conversant with the SWOT analysis. All right. SWOT analysis is basically, SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It can assist you to assess yourself in detail in context of a given situation. And The external factors are opportunities and threats, and the internal factors that you contribute to a situation are the strengths and weaknesses. So there are 5 steps in this. First, you list your relevant strengths, then you review your weaknesses, then you define your opportunities, and then you understand any potential threats. And in the end, you come to your plan. That is, you make an informed decision and you come to the plan that you are deciding upon. So now we have a case study for the group activity. I'm going to request Nitesh to put it in the chat box, the link for it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So what you're going to do is this, that I will just tell you that what each group needs to do: analyze the case study, formulate an ideal continuous training program that incorporates this particular person. We have named her, of course, it's fictitious, Anjali Khanna. Incorporate her career goals, areas of improvement, personal background, hobbies, and training needs. And the program may include workshops, courses, mentorship opportunities, resources tailored to Anjali's specific requirement. The objective is to design a training plan that helps Anjali to grow as an educator, addresses her challenges, and aligns with her career aspirations, right? So I would like you to, without spending any time, to go into your respective breakout rooms, and you can give you 10 minutes, in fact, a little less than 10 minutes, about 8 minutes. I think, Nitesh, do we have that much of time?
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Right. So please go into your breakout rooms and formulate a plan. And I look forward to some innovative and in-depth plans that you can come up with. Nitish?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
Hello. Good morning, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am,
morning.
actually, we did go to the breakout room, but is there a document or something which we should refer to?
The document is there in the chat box.
Ma'am, none of us has been able to open that document.
We are not able
When,
to.
when we try to open the document, it says sign in into OneDrive or Live. And then even after signing in, it is not opening. So in fact, we kept debating as to what do we do? Should we leave the breakout room and come here, or but if
As
somehow
it's a
if the document
Microsoft
can be
document, ma'am, they
uh,
must be requiring an Microsoft account for the same to access it.
Oh dear.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
oh, so can you
because not
convert this
everybody will
into
be having this.
yeah,
So
I
then,
do.
Nitish, what we can do is we can bring it back, bring everyone out of their breakout rooms and come to the main screen, and we can share it there.
Exactly, ma'am. That's what I was thinking, that I
Yeah,
can
we'll
share
do
the
that.
screen of
We'll
mine
do
Yeah,
that.
and they can see and
We'll
they
do
can
that.
discuss here in the chat only.
We can discuss in the chat. Absolutely. We'll do that.
yeah, that
Sure.
is what I felt because
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
had
So
to
let me
take the
close the
risk.
rooms now.
Yeah.
Dipali ma'am, we were not shared any link in the that breakout room.
Yes, this was a problem. I think we are coming onto the main screen and we're going to share it here for everybody together.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Not at all. You're most welcome.
I think we can see this document now.
Yes.
It's here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I'm going to do a quick read through for your this thing. You can have your this thing ready also. Basically, this is a teacher profile. It's a fictitious one. Anjali Khanna, age 35 years. Contact information, of course. Now, what is important is years of teaching experience, 10 years. Years of service remaining, 20 years. I would also say that the city is also of importance. I'll give you just this hint that it is important and when you're planning a particular program in some ways. Educational qualifications, bachelor's degree in English education, master's degree in curriculum and instruction. Career progression is career goals. Anjali aspires to become a department head or a curriculum coordinator within the next 5 to 7 years. Areas of focus for improvement. Anjali would like to enhance her technology integration skills and develop expertise in designing and implementing project-based learning initiatives. So, where I'm emphasizing, these are the places that you have to absorb in your mind and note those down for you to make an ideal training program. Desired roles and responsibilities. She's interested in taking on leadership roles within the school, such as being a mentor to new teachers or leading professional development workshops. Then we have family and personal background. This is also very important factor when you are planning your professional development and your roadmap, right? Family obligations. Anjali is a single parent with 2 young children. She requests training sessions that consider her family commitments and can be flexible with her schedule. Personal circumstances. She is passionate about promoting diversity and inclusion in education and would like training programs that address inclusive teaching practices. Then we come to hobbies and interests. Hobbies, she enjoys reading and participating in book clubs, which she believes can enhance her teaching strategies and help her recommend books to students that cater to diverse interests. Growth as an educator, Anjali believes her interest in photography can be integrated into her teaching practices to make lessons more visually engaging. So here, hobbies and interests is something, again, personally, my personal request to all of you is you must incorporate your hobbies and your interests into your profession. And you must make the most of all the traits that you have and all the expertise that you have and the inclination that you have for these, because that is something that you would be teaching along with your hobbies and interest incorporated into it. I think you cannot ask for anything better than that. Then we have training needs. So areas of professional development, Anjali would like training in technology, integration, project-based learning, leadership qualities, and inclusive teaching practices. Subject areas, teaching methods. She's interested in exploring innovative approaches to teaching, literature, such as using multimedia and digital platform, and to analyze and interpret texts. Specific challenges. Anjali faces challenges in managing diverse classrooms and meeting the individual needs of her students. She would appreciate support in differentiated instruction strategies. Then we have additional observations, her enthusiasm for collaborative learning, and hope to participate in training programs that encourage collaboration among teachers from different disciplines. And now you have the instructions that you have to analyze this case study and formulate a CPD for this particular lady.
Yeah.
It is, the objective is to design. Could you please mute your mics, please? There is some disturbance. The program can include workshops, courses, mentorship opportunities, and resources tailored to the case studies requirements. So now individually you could dwell upon it and you could think. I'll give you 2 minutes to think as to what are the areas that you've got to keep in mind and what is it that you can come up with. Actually, this is an exercise which requires far more time, but I would like these will be made available to you, all the information, this particular case study, as well as 2 other documents I'll be giving to you. I would like you to dwell upon it and work on it, because this is something which will give you clarity as to where you are, what you want to do, and what you finally want to achieve. Any questions, comments?
Yes, Kunika madam.
Yes, sir.
Very good work you have given. And what
those things which helps
This
us,
meeting is being recorded.
all these things which helps us to develop, helps us to grow as a professional and as in our personality, comes under the opportunities. And threats are the situations where there are impeding conditions. So this, for a self-awareness practice, all individual, adult or adolescent, must know this for full blooming our potential. If we know the strength, if we know the weakness, we can convert the strengths into opportunities very easily. And we can minimize our weakness so that the threats and the constraint can also be minimized. So as a teacher, as a professional individual, as an adult and mature individual, it is our goal to deal with this with our students, with our adolescent, with the young adults, so they can develop the skill of SWOT analysis for developing one's personality, to developing one's awareness about self, and can act accordingly so that they can best be driven in their life struggle. If you can have the next slide, please. So when we talk about strength, we can say about what do you better than others, what do others see as your strength, what others can say that these are your strength, the personal potentialities, the skills, the qualifications, the experience, which can give you a benefit, a leap. Those are your strength. The gaps in knowledge, skills, or experience are your weakness. The difficulties you are facing, the difficulties that put you in frustration can be your weakness. What are the impediments that keep you not working according to your potentials or your weakness? What are the things you are avoiding are your weakness? What negative feedback you receive from others are your weakness? How best are you not coping with the emotions and stress in a befitting manner? That may be your weakness. And based on this strength and weakness, these are very important features. One must know his or her strength, so that one, as an adolescent also, they can work in a befitting manner. And if they can know the weakness, they can try to minimize, work upon this weakness to minimize this. So as a teacher, as a new individual, beside curricular activities, even within the curricular activities, very often we cannot get chance to deal with this, to develop these skills in the adolescent through other extracurricular or co-curricular activities because of the lack of time. So even we can get a minimum chance within our curriculum, within our particular chapter, we must avail that particular thing. Maybe a storytelling process, maybe a storytelling process, maybe say a case study, maybe a condition where we can tell them to analyze a particular book or a particular chapter, where we can have the opportunity to talk them about how we can improve, work upon our strength and weakness, and how can we convert this strength into opportunities, and how we can, by minimizing the weakness, we can reduce our threats. And if we can reduce our threats, we can reduce our constraint, and if we can do that, you will be in a win-win situation. So very often this cannot be taught in a classroom situation separately. So what is our role? Our role as a teacher is to incorporate this within our curricular material by using stories, by using case studies, by using, say, problem analysis, or book review or chapter review, and develop this habit. Next slide, please. Okay. So friends, this is most important. So there are several other things, but as I've given to, I was asked to stress on this self-esteem and self-awareness. So I believe we have understood the situation where we can act in a most positive fashion so that we can contribute for the development of our students. Because they are, as I've told you again and again, they are under confusion, they are under turbulence, and this situation is aggravated through this. So this is one part, and there are several other parts also to take care of while you are being there as a school teacher. One most important part is involving potential peers who have a leadership aptitude. Often, as because they are influenced by the peer, so often your talk may be a preaching way of doing that. The adolescent may not always listen to you, or we may not have that skills enough. If we don't have that skill, we need to upskill ourselves. The present scenario deals with learn, unlearn, and relearn scenario. So there is no harm in doing that. And at the same time, often we can talk with those peer leaders, peer educators. And these peer educators in each school can play a very vital role in the psychosocial well-being of this adolescent. So that we should take care of. And Government of India has Manodarpan program. Regularly, if you have the Manodarpan Facebook channel, you will find so many such programs which can help us to upskill ourselves. And there you can see also the reflection of these peer educators, as because these peer educators usually have they are the leader group. So you can get the reflection from them, which can help us to reinvent ourselves even under such new normal condition. Friends, this COVID-19, that is this pandemic, has greatest influence on the teaching learning scenario, and the sustainable development goals, mostly in terms of this reducing inequalities, establishment of equities, development of infrastructure, zero hunger, zero poverty, and partnerships. These are all derailed during the last 3 years because of this COVID scenario. And friends, this teaching learning in the Vidyalaya is not only a cognitive part, it has its psychosocial part also. We try to reach to the students through digital devices, but in many cases, we in Kendriya Vidyalayas, we in Bhavans, we are fortunate enough that the impact of digital divide was minimum. So we can manage to reach a considerable amount of students. But the point is that we can only reach to their cognitive part. What about the social part? What about the friendship? What about their affinities towards each other during a classroom? Their sharing of this tiffin during the tiffin period, recess period. What about their adolescent normal features with dealing with each other? These were being pulverized during the last 3 years under confinement, and they were more being under the influence of the parental nagging. And as I told you that the scenario is rapidly changing, so this generation gap is also influencing, and parental nagging is also playing a very vital role. So we have to think of both the things, the cognitive part as well as the psychosocial part, well-being. And unfortunately, lot of cases of mental health problems are coming after the COVID. And in this regard, what we need counseling support, we need referrals. We may not be a counselor. Counseling gives emphasis on helping to cope up, but that helping only by trained individuals. And this helping must be when the help are being asked for. That is counseling. And in counseling, but as our present situation demands that each one of us be a counselor to a certain extent. There are several counseling courses of different universities from nation and abroad. Even this digital age has given us the opportunity to learn asynchronously in counseling. So if you can manage to do that, we can develop our skills, counseling skills. Friend, first and foremost is intake. We must create an ambience, a non-threatening, non-judgmental ambience for the student who is in need of help. So the intake is a very important feature. Number 2, attentive listening through verbal and non-verbal gesture. These are most important. Empathetic attitude is another most important thing. The paraphrasing, that means we are initially we are creating a situation with open-ended questions where the student may feel comfortable so that he or she can divulge the problems with you. If we don't give them the chance of opening up, it's of no use. So that is most important. In that case, paraphrasing is very important. That means what he or she has told, we must reflect in a different language the same thing, so that the student must have a feeling that yes, the teacher has understood my problem. Paraphrasing is very important. Positive frame of mind is absolutely important. Even if you think that this is a difficult case, don't put such things in a negative mind. After opening up with open-ended question, one must come to a more specific question so that the particular student can ultimately come to the main problem. And you can have several sessions. And if you think of the 3, 4, 5 sessions, in certain cases you need to give door openers. It may come to a stagnancy. In that case, as a counselor, as an individual, your role will be to ask some certain question which can be a door opener to break the stagnancy and carry out the push through the counseling session. And if you think that your counseling is helping, is great. But if in certain cases we think that this is not helping, we have to refer this to other skilled individual. And another important thing, as a counselor, as a teacher, you must not be emotionally attached with the students. You must be mature enough to deal with them. So this is one part, counseling part, and we gradually, as a teacher, in this different situation, we have to reinvent ourselves, upskilling ourselves with certain degree of counseling skills, trained ourselves. Another important thing is the child sexual abuse. We have the POCSO Act. One should go through that. And there are different stakeholders. We must know what actually the sexual abuse is all about, what types are there. Then we must know what are the red flags, what are the flag signs by which we can notice the distress in the students, in the adolescents. We must create an ambience where the students are free to disclose the things. Once it is being disclosed, we must, with maintaining all sort of confidentiality, we must report it to the higher authority. Confidentiality is a big factor. At the same time, not only reporting, but we must be careful about the psychosocial well-being of the victim. We must educate them how to say no. We must educate them what are the good touch and what are the bad touch. We must educate other stakeholders, including the non-teaching staffs, including the parents, including the pool car drivers, including the other societal individuals, the NGOs, in a safety network, how to overcome such scenes, because child sexual abuse may create a lifetime trauma for the children. It is not necessarily only for the adolescent time, it can go beyond that. So as an individual, as a newcomer in the teaching learning process, this is another very important features which we must know, and we must know what are the grooming behavior of this abuser. And through all this, because these are taboo topics, often we are not very comfortable to tackle this, to deal with this, and that may lead to a difficult scenario. So it is a holistic approach. More and more we learn, more and more we exposed. We as teachers will learn a lot, and I believe that strong institutional support can give a very your administrator, your managing committee, your philosophy of your organization, the vision and the mission of your organization. If they are in a positive way, if we are getting strong institutional support, the work becomes very easy for any teacher. And Bhavan's being a very positive philosophy, you are lucky enough to be introduced in the Bhavan setup, and will definitely get better ambience as a new teacher to inculcate these values, to inculcate these things, and to deal effectively with this adolescent in such vibrant, in such difficult situation. The clarion call from United Nations is to reinvent ourselves as a teacher. And you are joining as a new individual, so your role is more vital. The SDG 4, which is going on prior to this COVID, the SDG 4 has started in 2015, and as because there are generational gap is very prevalent within 5 years. So we need to incorporate those things here. And with this few words, with high hope that you will develop yourself. My conviction is that for becoming a very good teacher, you must be a very good individual at first. There is no other way. If you can be a very good individual, if you can have a very sound backup support from family, you have a sound backup network with your community, with your society, and you are not bogged down with only syllabus or curriculum. Your eyes are open, you can do a lot for all of us, especially for this adolescents and the young adult. Thank you for giving me an opportunity, and I again beg my pardon because of a spilling over of my previous session here. I have to be a little bit late. I'm apologizing for that. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time. And thank you for sharing your knowledge in the induction program. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sharmaji is my mentor, and I'm always learning in each other. Thank you, Deepali madam, for giving me the opportunity for sharing the slides. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have a session on manage stress and anxiety, which will be taken up by Srimati Shobana Mukherjee, ma'am, who is the school counselor of Bhavans. She superannuated in March 2022 as HOD English, BGKV, Kolkata. She was the chief editor of the school magazine Ripples, and that is since its inception till 2022, and was also the academic coordinator. She was also the school counselor since 2004. At present, she is the school counselor of Bhavans. This session, ma'am, will end at 1 o'clock. This is for your information. I welcome you, ma'am, for the session.
Thank you, everyone, and a very good afternoon. Very nice to meet respected dignitaries and the newly inducted teachers from various Bhavans schools. Before starting the session, I would like to request all of you to switch off your mobiles. That would be very good because there should be no disturbance. Also, kindly keep a paper and pen handy. All cameras, if possible, if it is not too difficult, to be kept on for this session. Kindly mute yourselves, but if I have something to ask, I will ask so. Also, if you have something to ask me, please use the raise hand symbol, all right? So the last 5 minutes will be your time to ask me questions. Would like to begin with the question. Why have you chosen the profession of teaching? All right, I can see Priyanka here. Priyanka, can you just unmute yourself and answer this? Why have you chosen the profession of teaching?
Like ma'am, as always from my days, like when I was in 11th and 12th. So my brother, when I was in college, my brother was in 11th. So I don't know computer science. That was not my subject. My subject was medical. But my brother told me, जब तू समझाती है ना, बहुत अच्छा समझ आता है. तो तू प्लीज तू पढ़ ले, तू मुझे समझा दे. So from then itself, I realized that I can make a change in a child's life. Like if I make him understand a concept,
Right.
and clear his base. So that's like it provided me a satisfaction. Like I have made a change in one person's life.
Thank you, Priyanka. That's a really a good motivation. I think
Thank
your brother really motivated you. Shudhapa, why did you take up the profession of teaching?
Yes, ma'am. Because I love this profession, ma'am, and not profession. Because I want to be teacher. Because when I'm studying in my school KV, that time one ma'am is there, Madam Bhushan. So I love her lot, and
So
I always
teachers
think,
actually inspired you, right?
yeah. From that time I want to be teacher. That मैं भूषण मैडम के जैसे बनूंगी. वो yeah.
Great. That's a very good way to be inspired. Right. Yeah. So I would like to ask everyone, but we don't have the time. So we are coming to our first activity, and the first activity is a worksheet will be uploaded in your chat box. Download that, and you have 4 minutes to complete 8 questions. All right. So self-work, no help from Google God, no help from anyone at all. So you just complete that. Okay. So it's in your chat box. So kindly go to your chat box, download it, and your clock starts now. 4 minutes. And I will be bothering you from time to time, stopping you. Not exactly stopping you, but letting you know the time. You've got it in your chat box, I'm sure. Two minutes left. Two minutes, 30 seconds.
No document is in chat box.
No document is in chat box, sir? No
Yeah,
document is in chat box.
I have shared it again, ma'am.
Right. Thank you. One minute, 58 seconds, 57. 50 seconds. 1 minute, 50 seconds. One minute, 30 seconds. We're coming to an end. Almost 1 minute left. Just a minute left. 8 questions to be completed. Thirty seconds, almost 30 seconds left. Twenty seconds left. 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pens down. Right. So, all pens down. Let me know who has completed all the questions. Anyone here? Just unmute and let me know who has completed all the questions. Anyone here? Any single person? No? All right. So let me tell you the reason. The reason for this activity was not really your completion of the worksheet. I was being a bit naughty. The reason was to induce stress because the questions are difficult. I'm not testing your analytical power here, which is why this whole activity was for inducing stress. So if that is so, Urvika, is that you, Urvika? Urvika, can you tell me then what is stress? If this was for inducing stress, so what is stress? What do you think is stress? Did you complete? Kindly unmute yourself, Urvika. Unmute yourself, please, Urvika. No, you can't? All right, never mind. Kriti? Kriti, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So, Kriti, tell me, did you complete all the questions?
No,
Was it
ma'am.
possible? It was difficult. It was intentionally difficult.
It was
So,
difficult.
right.
Mind-boggling questions. I was like, what the heck is happening? It was not.
So, did you
Totally
complete one, complete two questions?
Ma'am, up to 3 I did.
Three, that's
Even
good.
I don't know if they were correct or not because
All right.
under such stress,
Okay,
little
fine.
time you are not able to do it.
Fine. So, do you call this stress? Like, you know, your stress level was going up?
Yes, ma'am. Stress
Yes.
and anxiety because there was a deadline and you have to meet that.
Right.
And
That's it.
you
That's
were
it.
done on that. So,
Right, right. So then what is stress? If that was stress, according to you, what is stress?
Ma'am, according to stress is like when one has to compete with
Sorry, who am I talking to, please?
Anuradha Beotra. Anuradha.
Radha. Okay, Radha. Thank you. Anuradha. Okay, Anuradha. Okay.
Ma'am, according to me, stress is when you have to compete with others in a stipulated time, and there is a pressure that within if I'm unable to compete, I'm unable to do that work in that particular time, maybe I will get scolding, maybe I will be ashamed and I will lag behind.
Okay, fine. So, okay, exactly. Very embarrassing. It's like exactly what the students feel. So let me have the first slide here. I would say, just a second, please. So what is stress? You will find that stress, any unpleasant negative emotions, anxiety, tension, frustration, depression, anger, aggression, anger coming from stress, aggression coming from stress, low self-esteem. Why low self-esteem? Because when you think poorly of yourself, when you're not being able to perform, then comes the low self-esteem. And when you're not able to reach out to others, then comes the low self-esteem. So that is stress. So we come to the question, what kind of stress do teachers have? Right. So one of them would be lack of proper resources. Fortunately for you, you're in Bhavans. We have smart classes, we have the computers, etc. So there is no question of lack of proper resources. In fact, you have to keep yourself ready to catch up with the technologies being offered. Then we come to workload stress. Of course, workload stress is there. Teaching, lesson plans, correction, question paper making, paperwork, projects, orals, curriculum, activity, numerous. There is a lot of workload, but which profession doesn't have workload? And we are blessed because we have vacations. I don't think even college teachers, university teachers have vacations. And of course, even judges nowadays, they used to have a break. I don't know whether they are having it anymore. So yes, we have a lot of stress, but we also have vacations. Then of course, we have training sessions, long meetings. That could be a reason for stress. You have to stay back after school sometimes to attend these meetings. Right, that could be a reason for stress for teachers. In student relationship and behavior, balancing different needs of students, emphasis on test scores, helping parents, then parents and students meet long-term goals. Yes, that can also be a reason for stress. So let us come to some suggestions. I have heard teachers say, walk into the classroom and be very stern, don't smile at all, and then the students will be scared. There will be discipline in the class. Do you agree? I need someone to answer that. Let me see who I can ask. Dhananjay? Dhananjay, can you just let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Dhananjay, did you hear my question? The question was?
No, ma'am, there is no. Please repeat it.
I'll repeat the question. Do you think that you need to enter the classroom in a very stern fashion, no smile, nothing at all? Be very stern, then there will be discipline in the class. You
Yes,
agree
sir.
with that? You agree with that? Preeti is vehemently saying, no, I don't agree.
No, ma'am, I certainly do not agree.
Right.
Since
Now, I'm not,
previously
okay.
I-
Preeti, I would love to ask you, but because you've already had a turn, I would like to ask someone else. Thank you, Preeti. Rumika? Rumita?
Ma'am, may I answer?
Who is that, please?
Ma'am, I'm Sheetal from.
Sheetal. Yes, Sheetal, I would love to hear you.
Yes, ma'am. It has been many a times that when we enter a class, the children are judging us always, and they try to understand what is ma'am's mood today like. You know, so they are very quick in anticipating like what is the class going to be like. Is
Yes.
the teacher's mood good? It's not. So they wait. Like if we enter with a long face, they will automatically sit quiet, and then if we enter with a smiling face, they are happy and they'll be more receptive to what we
Absolutely.
teach.
Sheetal, you have given the key word, happy and receptive. Right.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheetal. So that's absolutely true. We have to understand that the class is full of students who have been sitting there for a long time. There's no movement. They can't walk out, and not at will unless they have to go out, or they're paying attention. They can't talk. So it's not easy for them. The least we can do for them is to enter the class with a smile, and that will make the class much more receptive. They will be paying much more attention. Be approachable to the students. That's very important. My second suggestion is that never give up on your students. Empathize with them, sympathize with them, give them one chance, give them many chances. It is not easy to be patient. Sometimes they can be naughty. Sometimes they may not bring their homework. They may not do their homework. They may not bring their books. They may not get their notes signed by the parents. So it's going to be difficult, but don't give up. Be patient. As teachers, we have to be patient. And once you give in to anger, you may think that your class control has gone up, but you lose out on the respect and love of the students. And that, as I said, is the keynote. Love and respect from the students can change everything. Prepare your lessons well. If you teach well, students will automatically listen to you and they will not misbehave. If your work is interesting, they will look forward to your class, bring the books, a little bit of encouragement from you might change everything. There might be a few students in the classroom who are a bit, let's say, sometimes a bit disruptive. But if you pay them a little attention or you talk to the class teacher, you may find that they have a little bit of problem. You can talk to the parents. That will help them. And that might change just about everything. They will thank you later on for it. And the class will be definitely a better environment. My third suggestion. As a teacher, you may find a lot of workload spilling into your, off time and affecting your family life, your social life. There may be illness in the family. There may be caregiving. You have to raise young children, interpersonal problems. There might be a lot of problems. But whatever the problem is, never carry your problems to the classroom. They should not spill into the classroom. The students should not get the brunt of your frustration. That is extremely important. Similarly, whatever the issues at school, whatever the workload, that should not affect your relationship with family members or work or enjoyment at home. There must be segregation of work and time to keep a balance. Right. That was my point of view. What about your point of view? Is there any other that you would like to, any other problem that you think or any suggestion that you would like to give? What about Priyanjali? Priyanjali? Priyanjali, can you hear me? Sophia, can you hear me? Sophia? We need more alertness, please. All right. Poulami Acharya. Poulami, kindly unmute yourself. Right. Sharda Kumar. Sharda Kumar. Kanwar, sorry. All right. Muskan. Muskan, kindly unmute yourself. No? See, this is exactly what's going to happen. If you, as a teacher, if you're not alert, you can't expect the students to be alert, right? So, Preeti, can you hear me? Jitendra? Okay.
Myself, Shutapa madam, you please ask me, repeat the
Yes.
question. Can I
Okay.
give the answer, ma'am?
I would like to ask you, Shutapa, but since you've already answered, I would
Yes.
really be very happy if someone else were to ask me. Priyanka, did you answer? Yes, at the beginning you did answer, right?
Ma'am, would you please repeat your question, please?
Yes, of course, I would like to repeat my question. My question is based on all that I've been speaking about. I've given some suggestions about how to tackle children. I was just asking you, what about your views about how to tackle children in the classroom?
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, last that what we were discussing was like, how do we enter into the class? You know, that
That's
was
right.
the discussion that was going on before,
That's
where you
right.
were talking that how is it that you are going to enter into the class? And so, ma'am, obviously, it should be like when I go into the class, I should always be, I should keep all my problems aside, and I should have that happy face, obviously, for the children. And because that's the only way that they're going
Yeah.
to listen to me.
I'm so sorry to interrupt
Yes.
you. Of course, you're absolutely right, but this has already been said. I'm asking whether you have something new to add on to this because we have a very limited time.
Ma'am, may I?
This is Shutapa?
No, Anuradha.
Anuradha, yes, please, Anuradha.
Ma'am, let's say if I'm talking about myself, if I'm tensed, not happy, maybe.
Yes, yes.
And when I'm going to enter the class, I have
Yes.
entered, I'll ask my students to do meditation.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
Just for 30 seconds, maybe that meditation would be for, I'm doing it for myself, maybe.
Yes.
But at the same times, the students, they will also relax their mind. They will also settle down for 30 seconds.
Anuradha, I think that's a very good suggestion. We must all keep that in mind. I think Anuradha has given a very good suggestion. We must keep that in mind. All right.
If I may add, ma'am.
And
Yes,
then second thing also, we can
Yes.
add fillers.
Fillers as in?
Fillers, I'm talking about classes 1 and 2. We can ask, I can ask my students to, okay, stand up. Show me your right hand. Show me your left thumb. Raise your hands. Smile. Laugh.
A little bit of activity just to cheer them up. Very good. Very good.
Maybe I will also be in a good mood.
Yes, of course, certainly. Right. So we are moving on to the next activity. And that is, I want all of you, every one of you to close your eyes. All right. And I will count till 5. While I'm counting till 5, think of all the people you love with all your heart. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Done. Open your eyes. So you have been thinking about all the people you love, right? Sunaina, can you just unmute yourself for a minute? Sunaina, Jaipur. Okay. Who else can I see here? Okay, 1 minute, please. Khushbu? Khushbu? Right. Just unmute yourself, please.
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
Khushbu. Just let me know, while I counted till 5, who were the people you were thinking of? Can you just share with us, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm mother,
father,
husband, brothers, and daughter.
And daughter. Very good. Thank you. May I? Yes, please. Who is this?
Ma'am, shall I answer?
This is, please. Who is this, please?
Kavita.
Kavita. Yes, Kavita. I'd love to hear your answer.
Ma'am, I thought about my son who's staying abroad.
Okay.
My God and my mates, because you know, since 7th of May, I have a fracture in my right hand. So from 7 to 15, I was on leave, and after since then, I'm staying all alone, and the God has helped me out because my maid is doing all the work, and another maid, she's preparing my food. So although I have a fracture in my right hand, but still I am being helped by the God. It could be worse if I did not had the food to eat, or if I did not have.
Thank you so much, Kavita.
So,
bless you, bless your maids. But I'm so thankful to both of you. You have spoken about your spouses. You have spoken about your children. I would really like to ask a lot of people, but because of time constraint, I can't. I would like to ask everyone, in fact. So I'm just moving on. So you've spoken about your children, you've spoken about God, you've spoken about maids, you've spoken about your spouses, everyone who's close to you. My question is, where are you? Where are you? You should be on the top of the list. If you don't love yourself, how can you love the rest? How can you love your family members? How can you love your students, everyone around you, right? So keep yourself on the top of the list. And if you do that, you'll see that your love and affection for everyone else will actually go up. So if you're already, for some, maybe on the top of the list, I have not asked everyone. So to you, kudos. And those of you who haven't kept yourself in the list, add yourself and keep yourself right on the top. Okay. So let us come to some stress management techniques. Can anyone tell me what is the most effective stress buster that is in our hands? Most effective. Okay, let me just start.
Meditation, ma'am. Meditation.
Meditation, all right.
Ma'am, laughter.
Laughter, okay.
Music.
Music, very good.
Talking
What
to the
else?
kids, sharing our problems.
Problems, right. Okay.
Sleeping as well.
Sleeping, yes, you got that.
Ma'am, being with your family.
Being with the family. Who said sleeping? All right, that's right. Who said sleeping?
Scientific, ma'am. Scientific. My camera is not working, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. You have hit the jackpot. That's right. Bingo. So sleeping.
My child
Everyone is right. All right, everyone is right. But the most effective one is sleeping, right? So we find that sleep is the most effective stress buster. It would be best if we could sleep for 6 to 8 hours. The average man needs that, but it is not absolutely essential. Because it could be that even after 5 hours of sleep, you feel ready and fresh to tackle a day. For others, it could be that even after 9 hours of sleep, you feel exhausted. It is not the quality, it's not the quantity of sleep that is important, but the quality of sleep. Today, we need to understand that sleep deprivation is one of the greatest reasons, for stress, for anger, and for diseases. Diseases like cancer, heart ailments, diabetes, high pressure, and the like are caused by stress because quality sleep is missing. These diseases are caused by inflammation. And while we sleep, the inflammation is reduced. You can keep on having, anti-inflammatory pills like also some people have ginger, turmeric, herbs, etc. But if you don't sleep well, your body does not heal. All right, when you go to sleep, let me ask, who shall I ask? Anyone here? When do you go to sleep? Let me see. Preeti, Anuradha, Dhananjoy, Rumita, when do you go to sleep? Nanda, when do you go to sleep?
Ma'am, 10:30, 11.
Oh, very good. Excellent. Who was that? Sneha.
Alka.
All right, Sneha, when do you go to sleep? No? Pallavi? All right. Maybe it's a network issue. Pallavi, when do you go to sleep?
I think Sheetal has raised the hand.
Sheetal. All right, Sheetal.
Ma'am, 10 o'clock, ma'am.
See, you're a really good people. Really, not good people. Good at discipline. Very disciplined. Excellent. But there are some. As I said, there's no time really. So a lot of people go to sleep after midnight, and that is, not good at all. So I do appreciate for those who go to sleep late, a lot of housework, lesson making, perhaps catching up with your friends, then social media. So staying up after midnight for a lot of people is a must, but it is not right. Science says retention power, quality of work after midnight goes down. Try to complete your work before midnight. You will say, I can't sleep so early, I have work left, I'm not used to it. Yes, you can, of course you can. Once again, science says that it takes 21 days to a month to form a habit. So try it, it will help you throughout life. Go to sleep before midnight, get up as early as possible. Those are going to sleep at 10:30. Obviously, you're getting up by 4:35. And set the alarm. Even if you don't sleep a wink the whole night through and you feel exhausted, get up. For 21 days to a month, do this, and this new habit will set in. Remember to have a light dinner 2 hours before you go to sleep, and keep the room dark. Switch off all the electronic gadgets 2 hours before you go to sleep. Yes, that's right. 2 hours before you go to sleep. That's if you're going to sleep by 10, by 8, all electronic gadgets off. If you're going to sleep by 12, before 12, by 10, everything should be off. Did I hear someone saying impossible? No, it is possible. If you feel you're reaching out for, your gadgets, then send a notification to your friends, to your loved ones that by 10 p.m. you switch off your phone. For some days, they might think what's happening to you, something wrong with you, but they'll get used to it. They'll appreciate you and they'll start following your footsteps. So switch off your phone, your iPad, your laptop, whatever. Try keeping them in another room if you are reaching out for them, and maintain the sleep hygiene, and your sleep quality, your work quality, health will improve. Right. Let's come to another technique that we must practice if we want to be stress-free. All right. Let me put it this way. Say, for example, every year before at the end of each year, at the beginning of each year, we make resolutions like we will go to the gym or exercise or not eat junk food or learn driving or learn singing, etc., etc. And then in the middle of, say, the first month or January or the middle of the second month, it all fizzles out. Why does it happen? What is it that we are lacking? Why does our resolutions fizzle out? Sneha, could you let me know, please? Sneha, why do we not keep our resolutions? Jaspal? Priyanjali?
May I?
Who is that, please?
Ma'am, Sheetal.
Sheetal, have you just had a chance?
Yes, ma'am.
I would really like someone else
May
to
I?
That is?
Kirtan.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I think it's a lot to do with the kind of resolutions we make. We either, overextend ourselves or don't incorporate it in smaller, doable goals in a way we can actually implement in our lives. So I think that's where we fall behind.
Yeah, absolutely. You're one of the reasons. Also, sometimes, we try to find excuses that we don't have time, we don't have this. So not what we are lacking is self-discipline. So we have to, yes, willpower. That's right. So self-discipline.
Lack of consistency.
Yes. So self-discipline, lack of consistency is absolutely right. So what we need is self-discipline, yes? So if we want to keep stress at bay, we want to achieve success, whether it be in our career or whether it be in our relationships, we have to be self-disciplined. For good relationships, We have to give time to our friends and family, and that comes also from self-discipline. Otherwise, there will be stress, there will be problems, there will be anger issues. Stress-free does not mean problem-free life. That's wrong. Everyone has problems. You may have all the problems in the world, but how you tackle the problems, your faith, your practice, how you remain grounded will let you cope with stress. Keep a little me time, a little me time, maybe 10 minutes every day, all right, maybe 5 minutes every day. Listen to a song or go through your photo albums, enjoy. Just look out of the window. If you don't have time to go for a walk, it's not possible to walk and come back in 10 minutes. Enjoy. If you can see even one tree out of the window, look at that tree, enjoy how it's growing, how it's flourishing. Make yourself a cup of coffee. So that is very important. That little 10 minutes of break to give yourself a breather, and remember,
Ma'am, you are on mute. Yeah.
am I on mute? No, actually the connection had gone out.
Okay.
There was a network issue here. So I was talking about, anger issues. Just a minute, please. Right. So whenever you feel that you cannot handle a situation, breathe in deeply, have a glass of water, and do not react. So give yourself a little bit of time. Whatever you say after that will be less, you'll regret it less. You will feel that it's less hurtful. So as I said earlier on, the deadliest weapon that human beings have is the tongue. If you hold back your tongue, you can hold back our tongue for some time, it solves a lot of issues. Next is, I would say, journaling. So dealing with anger, we just dealt with that. Journaling, it helps us. Anyone writes a diary here? Anyone here?
Yes.
Who is that? Gurpreet. Okay. Can you just let us know why you write the diary? How long have you been writing the diary?
I mean, I don't really write it regularly, but whenever I see things spilling over, like
so stress times you write.
Yes, I write during stress time.
Right, very good. And how does it help you? Why do you write?
I don't know. Somehow when I write it down, everything becomes more structured for me to understand what's been going on and how to tackle whatever I need to.
You have got it right. Absolutely. That's the reason we do journaling. We write a diary. So it helps us to see things clearly, recognize triggers, and learn better ways to control them. Help us to recognize, sorry? Help us to recognize. Just mute yourselves, please. So identify negative thoughts and behaviors. All right, so it helps us to identify negative thoughts and behaviors. The diary, the journal can be our friend. Often due to social anxiety, you can't tell anyone what you feel. And your diary can be your emotional outlet, your confidant. You feel angry at someone and can't tell him to his face, write it out. Give it to him real good. And you will feel better, you will feel lighter, less burdened. But remember something, there's a technique. When you are writing the diary, at that point, don't go back and read what you have written. can't modify the written word. Let it be an emotional flow. Just get it off your chest. Be honest to yourself, to your emotions. Just unburden yourself. And you will find over time, your anxiety will reduce, your depression and stress will reduce. Another activity that helps in controlling is segmentation. You were already talking about segmentation, so I will not be spending too much of time about that. So divide your task into small segments, one thing at a time, focus solely on each task without, getting additional pressure. And this designation of specific time for schoolwork, for housework, for family, for friends, you will feel more relaxed. Another technique is engaging in activities. You know what or who takes away our freedom? Our inner thoughts. The constant chatter that disturbs our inner peace. We have no peace because of the clutter of thoughts in our minds. Freedom is having fewer thoughts, shifting from living in our heads to the present moment. So keep a time every day as part of your schedule when you detox from electronic gadgets, social media, be it your phone or your laptop. Instead, go for a walk, play with your pet, sing, dance, paint, do whatever that lessens your the stress. And it can be like yoga or exercise, any form of sport. Any physical activity is good for releasing stress. Practice emotional first aid. Don't be harsh on yourself. So what we need to do is, what is this emotional first aid? Don't be harsh on yourself. When you do something not up to what you think is right, not up to your own expectation, if you are harsh, it is like getting a cut and aggravating the wound. Limit the thought that, the grass is greener on the other side, everyone else is happy, they have achieved, I haven't. No, it's not right. Whoever is working hard is reaping whatever they have worked hard for. So you have to work hard. There's no second way out for that. To be an achiever, you have to work hard. But be rational, build your self-esteem, reframe negative thoughts. Instead of thinking, I can't take this anymore. See, I have faced tough situations before, I can handle this as well. All of us have this constant destructive, negative internal dialogue. Consciously reframe it. It will contribute to happiness. And remember that to release stress, we have to work smarter, not harder. Delegate some work. You don't have to do everything yourself. It's okay if you can share the work and divide up some of the work. Invest in tools and technology. So a good laptop will be of real good help to you. And ask for help. If you are asking for help, it doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger, because you know that you need to help yourself to do better at your work. Also, you need to help others. And of course, we have the breathing exercises. There are a lot of techniques. One is the box breathing, where we will be doing one activity just now. So I'm not taking up too much time. So whenever you feel that you are stressed, meditate or breathe, just a little bit of breathing. That can keep you composed and reduce stress, improve your performance. Incorporate deep breathing and meditation in your daily life routine. We are coming to a very short activity. So a meditation is part of it. So we are coming to a short activity. And what I want you to do is, we are going to do this activity together. So we are all sitting here. Just a minute. Right. Okay. So there's going to be some music. Before that, let us all sit comfortably and relax our body. Listen to the music. the restlessness and continue shaking your hands. Get rid of all the restlessness that is clogging your energy. Stop moving your hands. Slowly move back your head so that you're looking at the ceiling. Now bring back your head, look down at the floor. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders. Now close your eyes and continue shaking your hands. Close your eyes. Keep your eyes closed. Stop moving your hands. Be still. Keep your spine erect. Relax your shoulders. Become aware of the enormous energy in your body. You're a powerhouse of energy. Each one of you honor your body, the most beautiful, precious gift. Breathe in deeply. Give your attention to your feet, calf muscles, your knees, your thighs, your abdomen. Take a deep breath and relax. Take your attention to your chest. Fill your lungs and breathe out. Take your attention to your shoulders, your arms, your throat, your neck, your face. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes, your forehead, your head. Honor your whole body. Keep your eyes closed. Let us move to our breath. It is the breathing that is keeping us alive. Become aware of the breathing. Smile. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out. Keep smiling. Continue breathing at your normal pace. Keep your eyes closed. Concentrate on your mind. Whatever thoughts that are coming in, good thoughts, not so good thoughts, let them be. Embrace them all. Love yourself for what you are. No one is perfect. Be aware of this moment, the present moment. Let go of the past. Accept everyone as they are. Forgive all the people you think have hurt you. Concentrate on this present moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Om Shanti. Shanti. Let there be peace in body, speech, and mind. Slowly, very slowly, open your eyes, please. Stop music. Hope that relaxed you. Actually, we are short of time. Otherwise, we could have discontinued. We're already past time. And there is, we just put that in the chat box. Just put it in the chat box, please. Some pointers on stress management. So you can just download that and keep it with you. And if you have any questions, very quickly, anything dealing with stress or dealing with students or anything you wish, I will try to answer as best as possible. I will try. Any questions from your side, please? Actually, we are short of time, so I think we'll come to an end, and I thank all of you. It was very nice interacting with all of you. Very interactive.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir.
For relaxing and rejuvenating ourselves.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, and thank you everyone here for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. It was a lovely session, which I wish I had more time, but then that's the way. Thank you so much.
It was really an interactive session too, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now I hope all the participants are ready for the next session, that is discussion. The topic for the discussion is outdated curriculum. Is the major
Madam,
hurdle.
we have with us, so
Shri M. Pauli, Joint Director, Shikshan Bharati, amidst us. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
I welcome you, sir. It's nice to see you here today.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir.
So let me start.
Please start your.
Yeah. See, first of all, what I understand is this is an induction program. Therefore, most of the people who are attending this must be fresh to Bhavan's institutions. Therefore, from Shikshan Bharati, audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, first of all, good afternoon to all of you, and to the teachers who are new to the Bhavan's. Let me welcome you all on behalf of Bhavan Shikshan Bharati, an institution with a long history, great values, and culture. And I'm sure you will be enjoying your professional career with Bhavan's in days to come. And the topic which I'm asked to handle is internet addiction. So it is not a topic which definitely I'm not a competent authority, because neither am a psychologist nor an expert in the field of internet, but definitely being a principal for such a long time, I can understand it's a challenge. How are we going to protect our students from the possible addiction to internet and these equipments? See, if you look at statistics, you will see in 2013, in India, we had hardly 20 crore people who used to access internet. Now that number has gone up to almost 100 crore. And it is expected that by 2028, there will be almost 1 crore 130 crore people who will be accessing internet, either through mobile equipments or through their laptop or any other equipments. It means there is going to be a vast access to the technology, whether you are young, whether you are old, whether it is your students, whether your superiors. I was reading an article in it is written that on an average, even today, a person spends nearly 6 hours using internet connected facilities. And in case of children between the age of 10 to 18, the number of hours they may be spending may be much higher than an adult will be spending. And that article says one thing. In case of United States, nearly 70% of the population get connected to internet every day. Almost 23 to 28% spent a large amount of time in front of internet. In spite of the fact that there is a lot of utilization of internet, even now, the society is not considering the use of internet as a compulsive action. It's not considered to be an addiction even now. And therefore, there is no standard medical procedure or psychiatric procedure given regarding how to handle if a person get addicted to internet. Now, the first question is, when do we say somebody is getting addicted to something? So I was going through an article in which it is written, you see, if you observe somebody is utilizing technology and cannot get out of it, and it becomes compulsive, and it appears that he cannot survive a single minute without it, then you have to start thinking that there is an addiction. Recently, there was a report from Bangalore side. You see, one gentleman approached a psychiatrist seeking psychological help, realizing that he is getting addicted, which is affecting his personal and professional life. And it is not about that particular individual. I stay and work in a city called Mumbai. When I travel, I notice one thing. Nearly 90% of the people who are traveling along with me sit with their mobile and going through something. It is not fair on my part to peep into what they are looking into it, but since it is overcrowded transport system here, I often see hardly anybody is doing anything serious except that they just flip through one or the other WhatsApp messages, some movie, and I haven't seen hardly anybody read anything, any serious article which they are reading. Probably one of the reasons they get addicted to it is because of the stress which they are facing in the offices. Therefore, when they travel, they may consider this going through this internet and some WhatsApp messages, some movie clips, and YouTube. This may be giving them some relaxation. But why do we say it is an addiction? Because this take out their opportunity to socialize with people who are around them. We must be noticing many people who are working in corporate sector. You see, they leave their office, reach home, and immediately they switch on to their laptop or mobile and trying to find out now what is the next mail awaiting for them. Because there is a kind of fear in their mind. You see something is waiting for them. They have to look into it. They have to react to it. Definitely, internet is providing us a lot of facilities in communication. Because if you're going to communicate through email, in most of the offices, the protocol is within 48 hours, they have to respond to you. At least there will be an acknowledgement. In case of education, I don't think there is any teacher who is not expert in utilizing internet connection, either to teach the children or giving some assignment to the children, or teaching through the flip teaching method, or maybe enrolling ourselves certain professional development. Let us say, even I am talking to you today from Mumbai only because you see this internet facility is available. So there are plenty of reasons and opportunities why we are dragged to internet, because there are a lot of benefits. Till now, if you wanted that information, you have to search in the Google for the information. Now, if you are going to use ChatGPT, which I often use these days, you need to just give a question and the answer is ready. If I draft a letter, I just upload into ChatGPT, they will edit and give to me. I have no need to ask my PA to write a letter or edit it. It is ready-made. So it becomes very difficult for a person to live without internet, because there are plenty of reasons why we have to depend upon it. But if it become a compulsive requirement, that is, we cannot live without it, where we are going to compromise our social life, then it becomes an addiction. And if you ask me, what is the symptom that a person is getting addicted to internet? Or if you come across a student, how do you identify whether this child or a student is having an addiction towards internet? It is a question I am asking you. I don't know whether you will be in a position to reply to me or participate in this discussion. But still, I repeat that question so that you can keep in your mind. The first question is, how do you identify whether a child is addicted to it? The best thing that you can do is to find out how much time this child or a person is spending with internet, whether it is a mobile equipment or whether it is a laptop, whatever it may be. You can also check ourselves whether we are addicted to internet. The moment you feel that some of your responsibilities get compromised because of the time that you are spending in front of internet, it means there is some issue to be noticed. And we have to even see whether we are preoccupied with online material. See, some people cannot leave YouTube. Some of us cannot desist from the temptation to upload the photograph that we take from here and there and upload it in the LinkedIn profile or in Facebook. I don't know the many new things which you youngsters must be knowing it. If this preoccupation start affecting our life, whether it is social or family or career, that means there is something to be worried, because we are getting addicted, and this shows the symptom. And similarly, in case of younger children, they go beyond this YouTube and LinkedIn and all those things. Some of them are addicted to games, which consume a lot of their time. In fact, it affects seriously their sleep pattern. And it is these games sometimes get them into certain connections which put them in danger. If you notice a child is having these issues, or even we adults having these issues, then we are addicted to internet. See, when do we say it is, again, I repeat that question, when do we say it is we are addicted? Because you see, anything which is in normal, whether it is a food, whether it is a liquor, whatever it may be, in normal consumption pattern, you see, nothing is addictive. But the time comes that we are preoccupied with this activity, mean you see, we are getting addicted. Now, in case of internet, it impacts our social life. See, many people these days become introvert. They have got a social phobia. Many times they are finding it difficult to adjust themselves in a team because of their preoccupation with this internet connectivity which they have got. Now, any child who is growing up to be successful in life, in profession, in career, one of the important thing is how the child is going to cope up with the real world and social situation. But the technology, if it is going to be a hindrance, that is something which worries us. In classroom, it can affect the attention span of a child if he is too much involved with this technology. I just wanted to give a kind of warning to my teachers. You see, there was a time we considered that we have to give some assignment to the children, which is based on internet and Google search and all those things. And therefore, now let us say we have to set certain boundaries. What should be the amount of work that we should give? And on what frequency we should give such assignment to the children where they have to depend upon the technology to find out the answers. If there are alternatives available, why can't we give such options to them? And in addition to this attention deficiency disorders, some children face anxiety. And there may be children who face social phobia. And what is the guarantee that this internet influence and some of the games, because some of the companies are very good at attracting people and retaining them into their product. And that is their job. They have to sell their product. But at times, some of the movies, some of the material which they watch may lead to a situation that is these children become and slowly develop antisocial element behavior, which can affect them, which can affect the people around them. It can affect the community and the social framework. So if you look at internet addiction and the disorder which can lead to, I just want to summarize some of the things which you have to take care of when you come across your students. Whether their attention deficiency is because of internet or technology addiction, whether they have anxiety and depression, is it connected to technology? Whether they have got a social phobia, if somebody is exhibiting antisocial behavior, whether this is coming from their exposure to technology, you have to be carefully observing the students who are sitting in front of you. Now, as teachers, we also use technology. See, while I got these topics to discuss about it. Even I was wondering how I will address this issue, because you see, even I'm some way or the other connected to technology at least 6 to 7 hours in a day. It may be my office work. It can be certain financial transaction which I used to do. It can be the communication within the family, outside the family, within the office, for which I depend upon. And there are times now certain questions comes in front of me. Recently, when I was making certain result analysis, I wanted certain equations. We don't have many staff who are very familiar with Excel, so I depended completely on ChatGPT to get the equations which help to my office staff to solve the result analysis in a faster way. So there are reasons why we get attracted to technology, then fail to move out of it, set boundaries. Now, as teachers, what we can do is, first of all, let me tell you, you teachers should be aware about the consequences if a child or we ourselves get addicted to technology. In spite of all the facilities or the benefits available from the technology, we have to be careful about it. We should understand the consequences that it can lead to isolation, depression, anxiety, social phobia, and inability to work in a team. And if you observe that among the students or among our friends and colleagues, we have to give a supportive environment to ensure that at least slowly and gradually, the student or the person get an opportunity to come out of this habit. One of the important things that we have to teach our students and ourselves is time management. We are very much concerned about time. Let me tell you, our addiction to the technology will drastically come down because we should know the value. As I was mentioning earlier, if you observe the people who sit in front of this internet, just try to observe what percentage of the time they are sitting in front of it, they are utilizing actually to solve the problems or complete their task, or are they just whiling away their time because you see they cannot come out of it. 90% of the YouTube visitors, they sit in front of, not because it gives them any productive solution, but just because you see they want to spend some time in front of it. And once they start sitting in front of it, they cannot come out of it. So teach the time management to the children, teach ourselves about the time management so that we will not be wasting much of our time in front of these equipments. And as I told you, being teachers, set boundaries and rules for the children. Set boundaries to ourselves so that the kind of task assignment that we give to the children, are they going to spend too much time in front of Google or ChatGPT? Or can they have alternative method of getting answers and completing the assignments? Similarly, I don't know how many of our schools spend time and resources for digital literacy. We ourselves and our children should know what is good and what is bad and where we are wasting our energy, time, and what is affecting us. Often we will see the information available through, whether it is WhatsApp University, some people call it, or YouTube or any other sources. Most of them are not verified information, therefore not reliable. Many times it is not useful. So at least the schools should take it as an initiative to ensure that now the digital literacy along with digital equipments. Now, we cannot achieve this because a child may be spending 6 hours or 7 hours in the school. And the chances are the child will be utilizing technology equipments within the classroom or in the campus is minimum, because most of you must have put certain rules and regulations to ensure that they don't bring mobile technology within the campus. The issue happened once they reach home, especially in these days, the environment of nuclear family. There are times you see both father and mother is busy with their career and profession, and the child is left out with the mobile equipments, and the child spending a lot of time in front of it, not just for educational purpose, but even for unnecessary activities. If that is the case, it is not that we should be aware and we should make our students aware, we have to make our parents aware about consequences of technology, overuse of it. So we have to teach. You see, there was a time in one of my school, I thought I will not teach computer in class 1 and 2. But there were a lot of resistance because it is considered to be fashionable to say that the child learn computer in the school, whether it is needed or not needed. But nearly 5 years, I ensured that now computer is not taught to class 1 and 2 students because there was no requirement for them. And whatever we can teach, we can cover up when they are in senior classes. I'm not saying that you have to follow my path. You may have your own philosophy and your own thinking, but at least ensure that take into consideration the parents, educate them so that the child is not depending upon technology and equipments to reduce loneliness at home. If the parents can give time, there is somebody to take care of them, somebody to set rules and regulations and boundaries, and the time they can spend in front of it, surely it will ensure that many students are not going to get addicted to it. And in case if a child is getting addicted to it, ensure that the child realize that there is a problem. The parent realize that the child is facing an issue. And most of our schools these days have got counselors. They should be educated about this issue, even though there is no standard psychiatric treatment now for internet addiction. At least there can be counseling. Some educational program can be worked out so that the children will not be in a position to get into this trap. And before conclude, let me tell you, if you want to address this issue of internet addiction, it has to be a collaborative approach. You have to see that the parents, teachers, all the stakeholders are in the same wavelength, and they should know the issues the child may be facing in future if there is too much dependency on technology. And thank you all. Welcome you all to Bhavan's. We are like a family. I hope that in future I will be in a position to at least meet some of you people during my visit to the schools. Thank you all very much. And a special thank to Dr. Shamaji for organizing this function and give me an opportunity to address your staff. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views here on this digital platform, and that too on addiction with technology is a Herculean task for teachers and parents. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
A.K. Sharma, sir, would you like to say something?
Sorry, it was a wonderful topic, very difficult topic, but explained in a very simple form. So, sir, thank you very much. We are highly indebted to you for sharing your time to interact with our participants. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I hope we are ready for the discussion. The topic for the discussion is outdated curriculum is a major hurdle for the educational and economic progress of the country. This will be presided over by Shrimati Nidhi Sharma. Principal L.K. Singhania Public School, J.K. Cement Works, Nimbahera.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me introduce Ma'am Nidhi Sharma to you all. Out of her 33 years of vast experience, Ma'am has been a school leader for the past 20 years. That's a huge administrative experience. She became the first and also the youngest principal to receive the prestigious the Chief of the Naval Staff commendation for her exemplary service to the cause of education. Besides this, she has received awards from various platforms like Principal Leadership Certificate from University of Reading, London, Exceptional Academic Leader by AKS Awards, Leadership Award by Vision Group, EduCon Award from GSLCMS. Nidhi Sharma ma'am has an unparalleled expertise in curriculum planning, is a master trainer with CBSE and resource person for initiatives of NCERT, empowering students and employees on educational systems with a focus on accountability and professionalism excites her, as she believes that the mind once enlightened cannot become dark. So let's all ignite that spark and create a better world. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And I'm sorry for the delay.
Not a problem. We are all educators, so sometimes you have to go beyond the timetable also. And it was interesting to hear, sir. So thank you so much, ma'am.
So, ma'am, I would invite our teachers who have prepared for
Certainly.
the discussion. So,
but before that, can I wish Dr. Sharma, thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to meet teachers across the panel. And also it's a great opportunity for me to learn from the young minds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
So I think Dr. Rekha Sharma is there and she wants to share her views with all of us.
Yes,
Rekha ma'am, are you there?
I am here. Yes, ma'am, I am here. May I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Warm namaskar to all of you. A special greeting to AK Sharma sir and Nidhi Sharma ma'am. मैं अपना पक्ष हिंदी में रखने जा रही हूँ. विषय है देश के शैक्षिक और आर्थिक उन्नति में हमारा जो पाठ्यक्रम है, पुराना पाठ्यक्रम कैसे एक समस्या है, इस विषय पर अपना मत रख रही हूँ. और मैं ये मानती हूँ कि वास्तव में ये एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है जो कि आज की जनरेशन फेस कर रही है. उससे पहले थोड़ा सा मैं शैक्षिक विकास के विषय में कुछ बातचीत करना चाहूंगी. किसी भी अगर हम देश की उन्नति की बात करें तो शैक्षिक विकास बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रखता है उस उन्नति को आगे करने में. हमारे देश का अगर हम देखते हैं कि शिक्षा जो है वो मानव को आगे बढ़ाने का एक सशक्त माध्यम है. और अगर हम देखें कि शिक्षा न केवल व्यक्ति को अपने आप को समझने में अपितु दुनिया को समझने में भी सहायता करती है. अगर देखा जाए कि बालक जो शिक्षा है वो दो प्रकार से ग्रहण करता है, औपचारिक और अनौपचारिक. अनौपचारिक वो घर परिवार से लेता है और औपचारिक शिक्षा जो है वो विद्यालय के माध्यम से उसे प्रदान की जाती है. विद्यालय में एक शिक्षक कलाकार के रूप में पाठ्यक्रम को आधार बनाकर अपने यह भावी जीवन के लिए बालकों को तैयार करने का एक प्रयास करता है. किंतु हम एक शिक्षक के रूप में ये आशा करते हैं कि अपने बालकों में अंतर्निहित जो शक्तियां हैं, जो कलाएं हैं, जो व्यवहार हैं, उनमें हम क्या इस पाठ्यक्रम के माध्यम से वांछित परिवर्तन कर सकते हैं या कर रहे हैं. ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रश्न हम जैसे शिक्षकों के सामने उपस्थित होता है. अगर हम ऐसा देखते हैं तो देखते हैं कि भारत में यह यथार्थ बहुत अलग है. हम बात बड़ी बड़ी कर रहे हैं, हम बात कर रहे हैं कक्षा में, हम न्यूटन को, फराडे को, इनको पढ़ा रहे हैं, लेकिन कक्षा कक्ष में जो उपस्थित बहुत सारे अनेकों हमारे बालक जिनमें की ये प्रतिभा अंतर्निहित है, उसको हम कर रहे हैं। हमारे जो प्रख्यात वैज्ञानिक हैं, जिन्हें अभी भारत रत्न से सम्मानित किया गया था, CN राव सर, उन्होंने कहा है कि हमारी यूनिवर्सिटीज में 90% जो पाठ्यक्रम है वो आउटडेटेड हो गया है। यानी कि हम उच्च तकनीकी से युक्त कक्षा कक्ष में पढ़ा तो रहे हैं, लेकिन जो सामग्री हम दे रहे हैं वो सामग्री हम 19वीं सदी की सामग्री को 21वीं सदी के विकास की को ध्यान में रखते हुए पढ़ाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, जो कि मुझे लगता है कि औचित्यपूर्ण नहीं है। कहीं भी ये चीज अगर हम देखें कि आज हमारा बालक क्यों, या हम देखें कि हमारे देश में प्रतिभाएं बहुत है लेकिन उन्हें अवसर नहीं मिलता। मैंने कुछ पॉइंट्स बनाए हैं कि क्यों हमारा जो आउटडेटेड पाठ्यक्रम हम क्यों कह रहे हैं इसे। मानती हूँ NEP अभी 2020 में काफी सारे प्रयास किए हैं इस पाठ्यक्रम को पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए, आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, जो और देश हैं उनसे कदम बढ़ाने के लिए, लेकिन फिलहाल अभी उनकी एप्लीकेशन अभी बाकी है, अनुप्रयोग उनका बाकी है। तो पुराना पाठ्यक्रम क्यों है उसके कुछ पॉइंट्स मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगी। पहला बिंदु है मेरा, हैंड्स ऑन लर्निंग नहीं है, यानी कि अनुभव आधारित शिक्षा बालकों को नहीं दी जा रही है। हम बात करते हैं सैद्धांतिक और व्यवहारिक दोनों पक्षों की। अगर देखा जाए तो हमारे यहाँ दिया जाता है व्यवहारिक पक्ष केवल 20% होता है, 80% जो पाठ्यक्रम है वो केवल सैद्धांतिक है, और उसके आधार पर हम बालकों को भावी जीवन के लिए तैयार कर रहे हैं, जो कि मुझे लगता है कि कहीं भी सही नहीं है या प्रासंगिक नहीं है। दूसरी चीज, हम जो जॉब स्किल्स हमें बच्चे को देनी चाहिए, आज MBBS BEd या जितनी भी प्रोफेशनल डिग्रियां हैं बालक लेकर जैसे ही कॉलेज से या स्कूल से बाहर निकलता है उसके सामने एक बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन मार्क खड़ा होता है, अब आगे क्या, क्योंकि सैद्धांतिक रूप से तो उसने डिग्री ले ली है, लेकिन आज अगर हम आंकड़ा देखें तो बेरोजगारी में शिक्षित बेरोजगारी एक बहुत बड़ा आंकड़ा उसका हमारे सामने आता है, क्योंकि शिक्षित बेरोजगारी जो है वो बहुत बड़ी समस्या है हमारे देश के आर्थिक विकास में। इसी तरह से अगर आगे हम बात करें कि जो लाइफ स्किल की चीजें हम नहीं दे रहे हैं, आज बच्चे ने ग्रेजुएशन कर लिया है, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन कर लिया है, लेकिन अगर बैंक में ले जाकर उसको खड़ा कर दिया जाए तो एक फॉर्म भरने के लिए भी वो एलिजिबल नहीं है, यानी उस फॉर्म को भरने के लिए भी वो 4 बार सोचता है, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता, क्योंकि कक्षा कक्ष में जो दिया गया ज्ञान है वो पूरी तरह से उसको जीवन जीने में सहायता प्रदान नहीं करता है। अगर हम बात करें जापान या कोरिया की, वहां पर बच्चों को भावी जीवन के लिए तैयार करने के लिए हर बच्चे के लिए सैन्य प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है 3 महीने का। अगर इस तरह के कुछ कोर्स जो कि हमारी सामाजिक अवेयरनेस या हमारे आसपास जो कि हमारे भावी जीवन को सीखने के लिए हमारी सहायता करें, अगर इस तरह के कुछ कोर्स हमारे पाठ्यक्रम में होते तो शायद ये पुराना पाठ्यक्रम या आउटडेटेड पाठ्यक्रम नहीं कहलाता। इसके अलावा जो नेक्स्ट चीज है वो है कि हमारा जो असेसमेंट प्रोसेस है, जो हम असेसमेंट करते हैं बच्चों का, वो मार्क्स ओरिएंटेड है, न कि क्वालिटी ओरिएंटेड है। कहने का मतलब है कि एक बच्चा फेल हो गया, वो बाद में पता चलता है IAS बन गया, यानी कि उसमें क्वालिटी तो थी लेकिन हमने केवल मार्क्स के आधार पर उसकी योग्यता को मापा, जो कि बिल्कुल गलत है। एक चीज और जो मुझे लगता है और जो मैं महसूस करती हूँ कक्षा कक्ष में, कि हम जो बुक्स पढ़ा रहे हैं वो बुक्स जो है हम हर साल नया एडिशन नहीं लेते, लेकिन चीजें हर साल अपडेट होती हैं। समसामयिक करंट जीके या करंट चीजें अगर हम बात करें हर साल अपडेट होती है, तो वो हमारी किताबें NCERT या जो भी हमें मिलती हैं किताबें, वो किताबें प्रॉपर अपडेशन नहीं है उनका अकॉर्डिंग टू टाइम, अकॉर्डिंग टू करंट टाइम। तो वो एक चीज है। ये सारे
एक्सक्यूज मी रेखा मैम, और भी लोग अपने विचार रखना चाहेंगे?
बस मैम खत्म है, कंस्ट्रक्टिवली बोलना चाहूंगी बिल्कुल हो गया जी बिल्कुल। हाँ, तो ये सारे पॉइंट्स हैं जो मुझे लगता है कि मेनली हमारे पाठ्यक्रम वैदिक काल में एक आइडियल पाठ्यक्रम था, आज के समय में आउटडेटेड कहलाया जा रहा है। तो अगर हम उसमें कुछ परिमार्जन कर दे तो शायद मुझे लगता है कि हम वापस उसी विश्व गुरु की पंक्ति में खड़े हो जाएंगे। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद रेखा मैम। Now, before the next participant expresses his or her views, I would say, please try to, speak in short, since we are running short of time. So here, I think we have Kakali Banik. Are you there? Kakali Banik? Nanda Roy. Nanda Roy. Okay, who would like to express?
Ma'am, may I sign?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually my camera is not working, so is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Good afternoon to one and all here. So I am Sai Priti Sharma, an English teacher from Bhavan Vidyalaya Junior Chandigarh. And the topic that was given to me was outdated curriculum is a major hurdle for the educational and economic progress of the country. So a few points that I would like to highlight is or whatever I have written for the discussion. Education is the cornerstone of societal progress and economic development. However, one major hurdle impeding the advancement of nation is an outdated curriculum. So what is curriculum? Basically, it's a framework that shapes the educational experience. And when it fails to adapt to the evolving needs of the world, it hampers both educational and economic progress. So the first one is like an outdated curriculum often fails to address the needs and challenges of the modern world. Rapid advancement in technology, science, and industry demand a workforce equipped with relevant knowledge and skill. However, the traditional curricula may emphasize rote memorization and outdated concepts, rendering graduates ill-prepared for the job market. Consequently, there is a significant skill gap between what employers require and what graduates offer. This disparity stifles economic growth and hinders the country's ability to compete globally. An outdated curriculum typically prioritizes memorization and regurgitation of information rather than fostering critical thinking and creativity. These skills are crucial for innovation, problem solving, and adaptability. By neglecting to cultivate these abilities, the curriculum impedes the development of an entrepreneurial mindset and stifles the potential for economic progress. In an ever-changing world, countries need individuals who think critically, generate fresh ideas, and navigate complex challenges to drive innovation and economic growth. Societal progress depends on individuals who are aware, empathetic, and equipped to tackle contemporary issues. However, an outdated curriculum often overlooks pressing social changes such as climate change, inequality, and cultural diversity. By failing to address these topics, the curriculum perpetuates ignorance and indifference, hindering the country's progress in areas such as sustainable development, societal cohesion, and equality. So to build a better future, an educational system must engage students in relevant discussion and empower them to become agents of positive change. In the digital age, the proficiency in technology and digital literacy is imperative for economic growth. Yet, an outdated curriculum may neglect to incorporate digital skills and literacy into the educational framework. This oversight leaves students ill-prepared for the technology-driven job market and limits the country's potential for innovation and economic advancement. So to conclude, an outdated curriculum poses a significant hurdle. I do agree for this, for educational and economic progress, by limiting relevance, hindering critical thinking and creativity, neglecting social issues, and overlooking digital literacy. So all these things, I think, impedes a country's ability to thrive in the modern world. And one suggestion that I would like to give is like education system must continuously update and adapt their curricula to meet the changing needs of society and promote sustainable development and economic prosperity. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your views. Next, who is willing to express? Is there anybody who wants to express his or her views? Anybody who has prepared?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, may I know who's speaking?
Priyanjali here.
Okay, please
Yes.
introduce
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Priyanjali Verma from Bhavan Vidyalaya, New Chandigarh. So I'm here to speak on the topic outdated curriculum has been a hurdle in the education and economic progress of the country. So one of the pressing problems of our country's education system is outdated curriculum. The main problem that our education system faces is students' reliance on cramming. So without quality education, the country cannot progress. This outdated curriculum is becoming a major hurdle in the education and economic progress of the country. Education is the road to national development. It creates a sense of responsibility among the people. On the basis of education, people not only realize their duties, but also know how to achieve their national, societal, and individual rights. So education promotes economic development and consequently people become prosperous and play their respective roles in the overall national development. We need to make the teaching learning process more meaningful and more creative. There is a greatest saying by Sir Abdul Kalam that is, learning gives creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. So still now, most of the schools, they still use the lecture method of teaching, which situates the authority figure at the front of the classroom, presenting students with facts and principles which they are required to memorize and repeat back on tests and assignments. It's a system that leaves little room for active student engagement and participation. So many of the learning methodologies still used in classrooms were set up in the age. So we, in a world where we can all put out our smartphones and look up facts within seconds, education needs to move from a focus on memorization to a focus on learning how to think critically and creatively. So there is a need to change the, basic methodologies of the curriculum, the outdated curriculum. We need to change that, and we need to follow up the new curriculum, and we need to change our teaching learning processes in the classroom.
Okay, thank you, Priyanjali ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, is there anybody else? Otherwise, I'll invite ma'am to.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who is that?
Ma'am, myself Japsimran Kaur from Bhavan Vidyalaya, New Chandigarh.
Okay, ma'am, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. For today's topic, I would like to say that the education system in India has undergone significant changes from over the many past few decades. And despite its long history of learning and knowledge, the Indian education system has faced numerous challenges like including unequal access to education, outdated curricula, and inadequate funding. And in many cases, the curricula used in schools and even in colleges also are not in line with the latest developments in technology and society. This can result in students being ill prepared for the demands of the modern workplace and can also limit their future career prospects. Even though the curricula has developed, the essence has stayed the same. Children are still taught in the standardized and the industrialized way due to some of the reasons like lack of budget, too much pressure on the grades, too much competition, not focusing on the overall growth, and lack of training. And this also has resulted some negative consequences like teachers may feel that the students are incapable of learning or parents are not supportive, and administrators may feel that the teachers are incompetent in the teamwork,
and students and parents may feel that their needs are ignored. So overall, I will say that for parents and all the teachers, it is important to understand that education and the learning process is a very dynamic process. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So now, sir, should I ask some more speakers? Some more people to
Ma'am, I am
express their
ready.
views?
Deepali ma'am.
Okay. Soma ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
for a
ma'am.
long time.
Please.
For a long
Okay.
time I was waiting. Good afternoon to Dr. A.K. Sharma sir, respected Deepali ma'am, and President of the session, Mrs. Nidhi ma'am. Today's topic is very interesting for us because it reminds us about our childhood days when we are going to school and carrying so many books, learning whatever teacher were teaching. And after many years, when I too became a teacher, the same picture I can still see. So this is very interesting to find. So today I would share a few words with you all. Curriculum, we know that curriculum refers to the entirety of the organized experience of students in any institution setting towards educational aim and objectives. But outdated curriculum is not in line with the latest development in technology and society. Whatever we see at present, I'm just sharing my own view. This can result in students being ill prepared for the demand of the modern workplace, and can limit their future career and prospects. In our country, we find the chalk and talk system is still going on due to outdated curriculum that focus upon mainly the theoretical knowledge of the students that the children mark up for getting certificate. That is very interesting fact. Okay. Then also what we find truly to say that this kind of bookish theoretical knowledge does help a child very little to get in future any good job or some prospect for the life. So what I feel, so what I feel
I think there is some internet issue. Okay. Ma'am Nidhi Sharma, I
Yes,
would
ma'am.
invite you for your words of wisdom so
Yeah.
that you can uh, tell all the participants your views. What do you think about it?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And good afternoon to all my friends from Bhavans. As I said, I'll share some thoughts and there's more learning for me as well. So whatever I've heard, I think more or less the speakers have covered it. However, since we are educators, many of us go and teach physics, maths, Hindi, English, games, music. But kabhi socha hai ki what is education? There are plenty of definitions of education. But as I see it, education is passing of knowledge, skills, and values from one person to another for benefit or use at a later time, to make them responsible citizens, to make the world a better place. So education should prepare, and I'm sure every time you enter a class, you should remember this, that education should prepare the students for life and for living. क्योंकि खाली अच्छी वैल्यूज से, अच्छे कैरेक्टर से पेट नहीं भरता है, तो लाइफ भी चाहिए, विच इज the value system of the society, and living bhi chahiye. So that there has to be a good balance between the two. We are preparing children for life and living. What it should not be, and which unfortunately the speakers have said, it should not be obsolete, it should not be irrelevant, it should not be too comfortable and easy to deliver information. Information children get on Google, Chat GPT, everything. And having headed schools across India, I have seen, unfortunately, we become uncomfortable and easy. You do not like your principal if she gives you new subjects within your sphere. Like I'm talking of the primary teachers, of course, there are specialists from 6th onwards. Ma'am, yahi timetable de dijiye, because your lesson plan is made, everything is made. So what it should not be too comfortable and easy deliverance of information, because as I said, that it is our responsibility towards the generation next, not only our responsibility as educators, but we are getting paid. These children, these schools have given us livelihood. So we have to have that kind of integrity amongst us. And at the topic of today's discussion is, of course, outdated curriculum. So are we teaching for today? Are we teaching for yesterday? Or are we teaching for tomorrow? So broadly, speakers have spoken, but if even what the NEP says, curriculum should be inclusive, it should be accessible, it should have equity, accountability, relevance, again coming on relevance, continuity, it should have respect for diversity, it should be gender sensitive, and it should be transparent. Now, as the few speakers were speaking, I think Rekha ma'am ने सबसे पहले cover किया था, बहुत अच्छी हिंदी में बोला Rekha ma'am आपने. I am not very good in Hindi, but I like to hear good Hindi. So what she mentioned, that in the K-12 level, we have a lot of rote learning. Unfortunately, there are two things. And again, if you can remind yourself before entering the class, our examination system, our education system is broadly based on recall skills. बच्चे को एक टर्म में पढ़ाया, एग्जाम ले लिया, फिर पढ़ाया, मिड टर्म ले लिया, फिर पढ़ाया, another periodic test. So it is all based on recall. Whereas the demand for 21st century tells us that it should not be recall skills that we have to upgrade. We have to upgrade the research skills. And because in a rote class or a traditional curriculum, it can be repetitive, children can lose focus, it does not entail deeper understanding, it does not encourage its social skills. In so many classes, and I'm not talking of one school, I've been a teacher for plenty of years and a principal for many years. Most of the time, there is just that chalk and talk delivering, children sitting quietly, and it breaks my heart. I'll tell you, there was, in one of my schools, there was a teacher and her class was always very noisy. So I started getting complaints, ma'am, because of her class. So when I started going towards the classes, I realized she had the most interactive class. And this is about 12, 13 years back. And she was a maths teacher. So whenever she used to leave the class, the children were equally, noisy. And then I told the teachers, I said, try to make your class noisy because, you are not enhancing the social skills of the children. Pata chala, jab wo teacher, I think she was in the 3rd or whatever class, she had told her children, of course, she used to do maths. They did a lot of hands-on learning. And she said, before I leave, you will not say thank you, ma'am, and then sit down and then good morning, ma'am, to the next teacher. She says, instead of thank you, you will recite or you will speak about the tables. So agar wo 4 ka table, 4 ones are 4. So her thank you was, and she used to just wave. Such an innovative way. Nobody had taught her. And the whole class, then I called her to my office, and I said, what do you do? She says, ma'am, they have to take, he continues talking about the tables that they are learning or reciting the tables, because till the time the other teacher comes, then they can say good morning or good afternoon. So we are killing the social skills also. So it's the outdated curriculum is a standardized curriculum which has a standardized evaluation system, and the need for tomorrow. Why the need for the tomorrow? Because pages and pages of information given to a child. Let's consider कोई B.Com कर रहा है, M.Com कर रहा है, आपने 4-5 साल में उसको whatever accounts that you have taught him, he will not remain an accountant. Pehle hota tha, but now the child, because the opportunities are so much, he will not remain an accountant for the next 40 years. I have a student who in 7 years has changed 3 professions. And he told me, ma'am, how useless of my 12 years of books I have spent in school, because everything that I did not want to learn, I was made to learn. And in 7 years, I'm doing 3 different things and earning out of it. I said, what all have you done? He says, ma'am, I started after his BTech and all. He says, I started as a developer. Then not having done commerce, I became an entrepreneur. And now I am a product manager. So it is very important to interleave or get the 2 systems together, which is learning with working, learning with doing, because they are not 2 separate things. But what we concentrate through our curriculum is only learning. बच्चे को नहीं आया तो फेल हो गया, उसको कुछ नहीं आता. Like she said, जो फेल हो जाते हैं वो कल को IAS बन जाते हैं. They do. Even if we go back in the ages, if I'm sure many of you would know, Mahabharat, Dronacharya ji gave the kind of skills, knowledge, information, education to his shishyas. We are talking of Kauravas and Pandavas. But even in those days, if you go to think, वो सिर्फ पढ़ाई और सिर्फ examination नहीं होता था. He allowed his pupils, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, of course, one set of them were defeated, to take his angst out and gave them an opportunity to utilize their skills, whatever they had learned in the Gurukul, against Draupad Raj, Yagna Sen. So, interleaving learning with doing, working, utilizing. And so I'm extremely happy that those 10 skill days have started, skill education. If you just go to the CBSE website, the kind of skills that have come in, artificial intelligence for the 6 to 8, there is beauty and wellness, there is design thinking, unheard of, blue pottery, block printing. क्योंकि बच्चे को अगर आप 6 से 8 में these kind of informations through graphic novels, through syllabus, if you are giving, who knows, tomorrow that girl goes to NIFT. I had a student who was extremely poor in education, and every time the parents came on PTM, they said, Nidhi ma'am, she does not study, she does not study. And I was the class teacher, and I was the the academic head also. I took her aside. I said, because her percentage was 50, 48, 51. I said, okay, you are good at drawing and painting. You become the in charge of the art club of the. And the parents came running to me. What, ma'am? She's already not studying. I said, no, sir, please allow me. I know how to handle her. She is the in charge. So she was, in fact, that time, I think in 10th, but she was made the club in charge. 4 years later, and because she was made in charge, because I gave her a lot of opportunities, 4 years later, we are from the transferable job. So I had moved on, and I get a call from an unlisted number, and my student was there, and she says, ma'am. I said, yes, what happened? Who's there? And she took her name. She says, ma'am, you know what? I was such a duffer. She used the word. I was such a duffer in school. It was only you who gave me the self-esteem that I am also good at something. I said, why? What happened? You were always good. She says, no, I know my parents used to insult me while other parents were sitting talking to you. But ma'am, you'll be very proud of me, because it's not only not even my parents. It is Nidhi ma'am who has given me wings. I said, what happened? Share the news. So she tried for, after her 12th, she tried for NIFT, because अब उसको लगने लग गया था मैं आर्ट क्लब की इंचार्ज हूँ, पूरा स्कूल मेरे अंडर है. She did not qualify for NIFT. Then she went to some Pearl Academy somewhere in Pune. Again, she was told by the society, ye dafar hai, ye dafar hai. After her graduation, she qualified for National Institute of Design, NID. NID is like the IIT of the art world. And there were only 25 seats, and this girl, who was throughout, because she had very poor rote memory, but she was very good at crafts and all. So soon after that, she passed out and she was picked up by Reliance Industries. Today, she's an entrepreneur. She charges lakhs for just going and painting a wall. So these are life examples. That MBA chai wala, बिचारे ने इतनी मेहनत की, सब कुछ किया. Today I understand that when he could not get employability because of the curriculum that we taught him, he started selling tea, and his turnover net worth is about $3 million. He's got आप MBA लिख के देखिए, आपको MBA के courses नहीं दिखेंगे, एक MBA चाय वाला suggestion will come. So these are success stories. We have loads and loads of them, and I think if we cover and sir, frankly speaking, I'm glad you gave us this topic, but all these whatever 103 participants who are there, if you just think out of box, because today's child needs out of box thinking, needs to be. I remember in my younger days, being an English teacher, I never taught them poetry in class. I used to say, okay, chalo, let's go out. Every time Dari will not be arranged. No peon looks after you. So I used to say, okay, can we all sit here in the grass under the tree? Once in a while, my principal used to call, Madam, क्या कर रहे हो? मैंने सर शांति निकेतन तो बहुत अच्छा है, अपने स्कूल को शांति निकेतन बना रहे हैं तो आप मना कर रहे हैं. Then he also agreed. So there are certain innovations, that are certain challenges that you have to think. You are preparing the generation. Ma'am, can I, though it's a very small, and since we are talking of prosperity and responsibility, I have just accumulated a few things. And when you look at that, are we preparing for yesterday or are we preparing for tomorrow? So if we can have the, I think, PPT played. Nitesh sir is there?
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sharing the presentation.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I know you have heard this, but एक बार curriculum के point of view से, I was told by Nitesh sir, this has been played, but just hear it from the 5 minutes that I have. Yes, sir. Can you please play?
Our education system is obsessed with teaching us what is difficult rather than what is useful. In school, I learned a plus b whole square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. Till date, I have never used it. Things I never learned in school: sex education, how to start a business, personal finance, the science behind happiness, how to write a resume, how do you read a nutrition label. But I spent insane amount of time and money studying integration and differentiation. I don't know why I spent a few hours of my life studying about rhombus. The only thing rhombus shape that I know is a burfi. Thousands of years of Indian history have been reduced to studying about 3 to 4 individuals like Gandhiji, Shah Jahan, Akbar. We learned about the Mughal period in so much detail, but we barely studied anything about ancient Indian history or what happened in the 50 years after independence. For us, history was all about memorizing facts like which year did the Battle of Panipat take place. Unless you're a Kaun Banega Crorepati contestant, memorizing which year a particular battle took place is completely useless. Every KBC question can be solved in less than 10 seconds by Google. Memorizing random facts that can can be Googled within 10 seconds is a useless skill. Our education system provides students with information. Till a couple of decades before, information was an asset. But with the rise of Google, everyone has access to all the information in the world for free. We don't need information anymore. We need knowledge. Let us not teach children what to think, but how to think. Let us not teach our kids what is difficult, but instead teach our kids what is useful. The right to education is important only if the right education is provided. Our education.
Now, the framework for an ideal, most of the things have been covered, but of course you send a child to school, you have to have core subject. Now coming to the COVID years, I think 30% of our syllabus, we had a rationalized syllabus. And fortunately, after the COVID, we got another circular which says that 30% is gone. Now, the thing is, if it is gone, why did we torture our ex-students? Many of my students come, they said, ma'am, how lucky are the children born who had exams during the COVID and post-COVID? Aapne 30% syllabus udai diya. Maine beta, maine nahi udaya. But yes, so he says, ma'am, actually, he's an IITian, and he says, actually, ma'am, more than 50% can be removed. And much before he could speak that, I said, we know. He says, from school, we just got a pass certificate so that we can prepare. Most of the things I learned at IIT, and now much more I learned at work. So learning core subjects, 21st century themes, these I'll cover in the next slide. Learning and innovation skills, life and career skills. Most of the speakers have already spoken about it. This is like problem solving, synthesizing information. Information तो है, but उसको synthesize कैसे करोगे? Interrogating, asking questions, reasoning. And these information, media and technology, you cannot survive in today's world if you are less relevant than your students. Your students come to you, and there was a time, we are veterans now, but there was a time when computer in the first two, I think class 1, 2, 3, they were just told CPU, mouse, all those things. Not anymore. These days, children are born with their mothers having an iPad or a phone or something. So even my nursery children, I spoke to my headmistress. I said, "Bhai, nursery walo ko bhi bhejo, ek aadha inka period lagaiye." "Nahi, ma'am, they will spoil." I said, "Let them spoil. Give them the opportunity. Give them the chance. It's all theirs." Come to the next slide, sir. This is I was talking of the 21st century themes. So 21st century themes basically are global awareness, financial, economic, business, entrepreneurship. Most of the things we have already covered, how important it is to make life and to make a living. और अगर आपने सिर्फ life बना दी, living नहीं बनाई, तो बेचारा खाएगा क्या कल का बच्चा? So, but he should have the kind of awareness that cutting trees, wasting paper, wasting water, these can only aggravate the problems that we have in today's world. I wish when we were young, these global issues were brought to the forefront, but at least today we have, as educators, we can make a difference. If you look at my side table also, I tell my PA staff, I said, जितने भी पुराने papers हैं उनको फाड़िए, उसके back side में लिख दूंगी. अरे ma'am, I said, no, it begins from the principal's table. I cannot have a fancy notepad. Here also you'll find something which is already scribbled. And that gives the culture change. That goes to the accounts. Ma'am uses all those photostat copies. Civic literacy. We've covered this in the past 2-3 years, how important it is to have the civic literacy where you are not running queues, hospital ki line mein mujhe pehle chahiye. No. Health literacy and of course environmental, we've covered. Come to the next, sir. A set of new economic opportunities have ushered, which in today's competitive world has to be the joint responsibility of the educators, the government, the employers. And that is how we can build an economic sound nation So there have to be dynamic partnership between the educator and the mentor and the mentee to get prepared for what profession he or she will take 15 to 20 years from now. Chat GPT I had not heard of 10 years back, but अब है. Flying cars के बारे में हम सुन रहे हैं, बहुत जल्दी ये भी होगा. We had phones as big as this, now there are palm size. So coming to these things, how technology, so we have to be, we can't be teaching, like the child said, Battle of Panipat and the Industrial Revolution with the same intensity, same note, same lesson plan. Yes, sir, come to the next. I was myself surprised when the first time I started searching for the new professions. Half of the things, like what is in nanotechnologists, we came to know everything is because everything small is beautiful. Now, sitting 5 kilometers away, you can switch on your AC before you reach home, your AC is on. Stem cell, all these are the professions that are today. I'm sure 10 years from now, even they are becoming irrelevant. But agar aap thoda sa dhyan dijiye, number 16, 17, and 18, this really impressed me because I've actually met somebody who's a retirement counselor. Now, interpersonal skills, social skills, emotional skills,
Where is my nail?
allow a
Where is
person
my
who's
nail?
retiring कि मैं आपकी लाइफ कैसे बेटर कर सकता हूँ, आपको एक हॉलीडे मिलेगी, एक ट्रैवल टिकट मिलेगी, relocation. I have attended in Jaipur, in fact, I have attended image consultancy because one of my students was part of it. So he says, ma'am, come. So I said, why do you want me to come? Ma'am, you come as a speaker. I said, fine, but hai kya image consultancy? I did not know 5 years, 6 years back. He says, ma'am, to enter any office, you should have an image. I said, I don't need it. I've spent my life building the image of children. He says, no, ma'am, there's a way of, even you'll learn something. Can you believe there was a presentation going on how you should dress, how your sari, how your button should be, how your tie? This again is a profession. So if you do not teach these skills, and hence I'm not surprised that beauty and wellness has become a part of the middle level skill subjects. Good on us, but we have to change our mindset. That are we preparing YouTubers, content developers, leisure consultant? Imagine 11th number leisure, this again is a profession. Urban farming, of course, town planners. These are the things we need to, and hence every time आप अपनी क्लास में जाइए, देखिए rational syllabus है कि नहीं. Even if you are in the 6th and the 7th, have the courage to meet your academic director or your principal or whosoever. That if CBSE can do it, ma'am, rather than that, I'd like to take my children to a particular industry. I'd like to take my children to a place where they can have some hands-on learning. I would like to make, you'll be surprised, मोमबत्ती बनाना बच्चों को नहीं आता है, साइकिल की चेन लगाना बच्चों को नहीं आता है. Who will teach them all these things? Come to the next, sir. These, most of the things we've covered, despite the new age learning, 2-3 things as educators, everything that is there in our curriculum is not useless. So it has been found out that reading skills are essentials because most, even as at a workplace, you first need to read something to comprehend. Then your writing is required in communication, in conveying guidance to others, and in charts, flow chart, and computational skills. So ये नहीं है कि हमारे subject redundancy पे हैं. Yes, whether it is 70-30 or 60-40 or like my student said 50-50, that time will, and we are all thinking heads with the NEP coming. We are all making changes. Skills of technical nature very much required. These are advanced, but they are basic skills. So we have to prepare. Improved organizational skill. This basically boils down to team spirit. You are sitting in the same staff room, but you wait for one of your colleagues to go so that you can talk about her. And when she comes back, she hears that, and then there is, I will not do this, I will not do that. Same happens in companies. There is so much of competition. One child is absent for 4 days of he's broken his leg. There are other people, sir, mujhe kaam de dijiye. So certain organizational skill, the right and the wrong, like I said, information, knowledge and values can never be undermined. If you're just giving knowledge and information and not giving them value system, आज नहीं पता चलेगा, आज से 3 महीने बाद पता चल जाएगा. The cunning people come out on light, and we don't have to give. The old philosophy, the head, heart, and hand have to go in sync. And of course, company specific are more or less covered. Sir, we can come to the next, please. I know it's lunchtime. We have crossed the limit, but it's just about to get over. Imagine, why did it not happen 30 years back? 30 years back, you had to become a doctor or an engineer or a chartered accountant. Now, these are the 10 inspiring Indian entrepreneurs. Nykaa founder, Mama Earth. I had not heard of Mama Earth about 4 years back. Now you open Flipkart and there are all kinds of, and these are, like I said, the $3 million industry of that MBA chai wala, all of them are millionaires and in dollars. Now, they may or may not have completed their education, but they, during their time, like I said, we have a standardized curriculum. और आप सबकी क्लास में कोई 5-6 बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं, when you're teaching them, they're getting bored. They're getting bored because, first of all, you are taking a dead topic and then you are teaching in that chalk and talk dead way. So these are the children who have that creative instinct. So अगर वो कह रहा है कि मैम मैं इस लैब में चला जाऊं, चले जाओ. Please find out. Try to finish your work. Don't be too ruly over killing their creativity, innovation, skills, and their desire to be thinking out of the box. So these are Paytm, all these are all Indian names. Come to the next, sir. We end by just having, and look at their age. Yes, few of them are IITians, but few of them are not. They are dropouts. And they are so happy being dropouts. I know, I read a story of a couple who were both working in corporates, and they realized that whatever they were, they had a 10 to 11 hours of thinking. Now they are called samosa wala. They have the knowledge, but the skill of, like I said, adaptability, thinking, kya hua? We used to think, are itni padhai karke aap. These days, children do not think. We have to allow them. This girl I know was getting paid in lakhs by Reliance, but she says, no, ma'am, I like to get paid by or be employed by Mr. Mukesh Ambani, but apna kaam karungi. 6 mahine kaam karungi, 6 mahine wall painting karungi, 6 mahine enjoy karungi. So are we changing as per the thoughts of our generation next? That is the question. Come to the next, sir. I leave you with this thought. Children don't need to be taught how to learn. They are born learners. They come out of the womb interacting with and exploring their surroundings. If they are given a safe, supportive environment, we have to allow them to think differently also. If they will continue to learn hungrily and naturally in the manner and the speed that suits them the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I'll invite Shrimati Suman Singh for formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dipali ma'am. Good afternoon, all respected educators. I, Suman Singh from BVV KM Munshi Marg, Jaipur, feel honored and privileged to extend the vote of thanks to distinguished speakers. I'm thankful to Dr. A.K. Sharma sir for providing learning platform through the induction course. I extend my thanks to Ma'am Kunika Sharma, Principal Bhavans Vidya Ashram, Chandigarh, Ma'am through light on importance of CPD, that is continuous professional development for educators, and different steps of NPST, that is National Professional Standard for Teachers, and SWOT analysis. Thank you so much, ma'am. The second session was taken by Dr. Sabyasachi Majumdar, Sir, National Teacher KVS, on topic Nobody Understand Me. That was about a glimpse of adolescent education, like physical changes, emotional and social development, and importance of SWOT analysis. Educators should be good counselor too. We are really thankful, sir, for sharing this knowledge. Thank you, sir. My immense thanks to Ma'am Shobona Mukherjee, School Counselor of Bhavans, Kolkata, on topic manage stress and anxiety in a very interactive way. Thank you, ma'am. My special thanks to Polly Meenacharya sir. Thank you, sir, for giving valuable suggestion on topic addiction with technology is a Herculean task for teachers and parents. My immense thanks to Ma'am Nidhi Sharma from LK Singhania Public School, Nimohera, presiding over the group discussion. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable suggestions on topic. Outdated curriculum is the major hurdle for education and economic progress of the country. Now over to the Pali, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Now with this, we end the session. But before that, I'll invite Jitendra Kumar Sharma sir for Shanti Part. Jitendra Kumar Sharma sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः। ॐ द्युः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिः विश्वे देवाः शान्तिः ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः क्षमा शान्तिरेधिः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.